Maybe.
Oh, come on here.
We're here. We made it.
Finally.
We live? We live?
We're live. We're actually live. Look at us. We're live. We did it.
We're live.
Fix your hair if you can.
That's right.
Again? Jeez,
I
I'm running
know.
out of hairspray by now.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, YouTube was sucking the night. We had to basically do an entire new stream, and even then it was sketchy, and then all of a sudden it kicked in. So those of you who were on the other John and Boom, thank you guys for coming over to the new link. We got De Niro and Dizzy. Dizzy hasn't been here in a while. He hasn't heard our music. So and Chris, I know you just woke up, but turn your camera on. We can't see you.
No camera tonight either.
Oh, come on. This is twice in a row, man.
Yeah, no access to my camera tonight.
No access to your camera.
Nope.
He has a bad hair day.
I guess so.
Nah, someone's using my Surface, so I'll let it know.
Tell them to stop. All right, well, taking the place of Chris tonight is just a blue and white S.
Should put my logo there.
I'm trying, but because you for some reason I'm trying to do that. There you go. Oh, and it.
There he is.
So, all right. Well, they'll just have to be blue. So,
Okay.
Welcome everyone. We're finally on, and look who's back. Look who's back. John's back in the house. So John. So yeah, man. So Siberia's in the house. All right. So as I announced before the show, John is after a 4-year hiatus. Is rejoining Next Level Gaming, and he is going to rotate in and out with PlayStation Bra, who I talked to earlier in the week, and so he is, which I kind of knew was going to happen. He wants to, which is what he should be doing. He's restarting the PlayStation broadcast, so broadcast is coming back, and he wanted to know if he could do 1 week with us, 1 week with broadcast, and trade off. So that was my opening to grab John and ask John if he would come on those. So it'll be John Thomas, and we'll just and then when whenever Chris can't make it, John, you can fill in there too. And
oh yeah,
so
I can come on whenever. I'm excited. Thank you guys.
Oh man, I'm excited. I mean, this is this is awesome, and I'm glad that show you were on a couple weeks ago with us kind of rekindled your desire, because I'm really happy.
Oh yeah, very excited. Me too. Thank you guys.
So, and how you guys all doing? Everybody had a good week? Peter, you
yeah, finally almost recovered for 100%.
Yeah. That man, what hit you? Like a truck.
I don't know. It's like the whole family got hit. It wasn't the flu, but I think it was just a very bad cold. That was like,
yeah,
down for a week.
Yeah, you were. I mean, it was bad.
It was bad. So this was a nice Christmas break. So we were all sick and laying on the couch and watching some TV.
Well, I'm glad that you're feeling better. And what have you been up to Gaming wise, sir.
Gaming wise.
Yeah.
Man, it's like, so, when I was sick, I finally had time to watch TV, or I felt too sick to play myself. So at that point, I had to be entertained. So I watched The Witcher. And that rekindled my interest into The Witcher. So I played Witcher 2 already. So I had Witcher 3 since forever. So fired back up. I had it since 2015, and I looked at it, and yes, there was a save file from December 14th, 2015.
Wow.
It was basically the first level after you discover a horse with a card, and so that was right at the beginning.
See, that's perfect, Peter. It's a match made in heaven. That was as long as my hiatus.
Yeah, exactly.
So, man, that's...
So maybe we have to call you Gerald.
Gerald. Gerald. Techno Gerald.
Techno Gerald. But yeah, so I'm enjoying it. It's I get sidetracked a lot because a lot of side little quests and other contracts that you can do, but kind of have to focus, and because otherwise this game will take forever. It'll take another 4 years.
Right.
And of course I played some Remnants of the Ashes with Crazy One. We picked that back up after I felt better. So
yeah, you guys definitely keep talking about that one.
Yes, it's a good game. You definitely need to play it with more than one person, because otherwise it's like super hard and you run out of ammo. It's more frustrating. I would say a minimum of 2 would be almost required. But it's a great game. The Bloodborne with weapons. I mean with guns.
Bloodborne with guns.
Yeah.
Man, that is nice. So, and Chris, where have you been? Hiding.
Well, back to the grind at work.
Yeah.
But before that, I did quite a bit on Star Wars. Trying to knock that out. But I tell you what, when I get to those bosses, I'm playing right now I'm at the boss back on Dathomar. The one Jedi that it's kind of turned bad. He's been kind of hanging out on Dathomar. He was a stranger. I don't know if anybody here's played it, but
not yet.
But I get those I keep repeating, keep trying to beat them, and keep playing over and over. And I was in party chat with Coop, so I'm like, I'll try it again Sunday. Maybe start off fresh, but I never did, so never went back. But like Peter, I watched The Witcher on Netflix and loved it.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I watched the series by myself, first time, but I kept falling asleep, at different parts. So I didn't. There were so many different parts I missed, right? But I kept going from next episode, and so I watched it again with the wife, and she loved it. So, and of course, I never played Witcher 3, so now I'm like, okay.
But you've played 2, haven't you?
No.
Oh, so you never played any Witcher?
No, but we were talking about it. Well, it was so. Shout out to my cousin in chat, John Gomez. He's in chat, and over the holidays, we all got together. We were talking about it, and our other cousin, which is his brother-in-law, he recommended for me to play 2 and then jump on 3. But then I was talking to some buddies at work, and one of them said, well, I recommend just go watch go on YouTube and watch a recap of 1 and 2, and then just go play 3, So I don't know. I might do that. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a requirement though. You can start with 3, and especially after you've seen the movie a little bit. Although maybe it helped that I played 2 and then watched the movie, because then the characters, it's like Triss Marigold, she doesn't look at all like she's supposed to look. Yeah. She's supposed to be a redhead, and not a little.
But the thing is,
buck-eyed color hair, whatever it is. Not even that.
The series is based off the book, so even the game is not really necessarily accurate to the books, like the looks. Because in the book,
but I think
that Triss is more of a brunette, kind of like in the series. So, but the game it's kind of like its own Witcher stories because it's past the point, or yeah, it's already past the point that's in the book.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They just the writer, he he's more in line with I think the series from his books, but the writer he gave permission, of course, for the game, but he said do whatever y'all want. So they did, made her a redhead, I guess. But
No.
I think it was a while back. Do y'all remember? It was maybe a couple years ago. He tried to sue CD Projekt Red. There was talk of that, and but I never heard anything more about it. I don't know, maybe they settled or something like that.
Well, right now I think they came to agreement about something, where they're talking to each other again. That was in the last couple of weeks, I think. So, up for Witcher 4.
Yeah,
kind of cool.
Next
gen between quotes.
Never between quotes. I've never played a Witcher game.
Dang.
I've never played a Witcher game.
Well, but you haven't played the GTA game either, right? Or have you?
What?
Sacrilege.
What? Whoa. What are you talking about? Whoa, wait.
No. Maybe it was
hold
fine.
on. Yeah. I've played. Hold on. I played GTA. I played GTA 2, 3.
4.
I played 4, but I played San Andreas. What was the other one?
Vice City.
Vice City. Yeah, I've played GTA. I just didn't play 5.
Yeah, you need to play 5.
So.
Defend your honor.
He doesn't have to play 5. Well, no, it's in Game Pass. He should fire it up at least.
Well, now,
There you go.
So,
but story-wise, I don't know. It's those Rockstar games like GTA 5 and RDR 2. It's going downhill. The story is not doing it as much as the older ones.
that's okay. With GTA 6, it's going to be hold A to drive.
I think it's like they focus so much on the multiplayer that the campaign it's kind of like repetitive and just a drag.
GTA as a service.
I mean,
it's
like I said, it all depends on. I thought the campaign was alright, right? Because you got 3 main characters, right?
Yeah.
And you switch back and forth with them, and sometimes when you go do missions, what it does is that you have to go jump into the other person, and so you're some of the campaigns and missions you're playing at different perspectives from each character. So each character does have their own personality, and at the end of the game, it's gonna make you're gonna have to make a choice on who do you want to live. So, I'll tell you what you have to play it.
Yeah, but I forgot that guy's. Was it Trevor? That's the.
Trevor, yeah, he's the one. He was like one of my favorite characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was his name, but there were some missions that were so repetitive, the same thing over and over. Fly that plane and this and that. I was like,
did you like the yoga, Peter, that Michael did? When he was out there, when the yoga instructor was like hitting on his wife, and
by the way, I mean, you guys are
doing this. You
guys are completely.
I wish you could just play as him the whole thing. I hate character switching. That's what I hate about The Witcher 2. It switches to Ciri. It kind of like breaks your whole. I don't know. It breaks my whatever it is. The bond with the main character. So yeah.
Nah, I recommend it, Mike. At least the campaign. You might get a kick out. It's just a comedy.
Yeah, it is, and it looks really good.
I don't know. You guys you're not selling me on it.
Just fire it up. Come on,
it
doesn't cost you any money.
This is true.
Fire it up.
Oh.
And Dizzy said play it.
Dizzy said play. I saw that.
Dizzy
said it has to disagree, and Dizzy would know, because he talks GTA a lot. But right now I'm playing Star Wars, just not the Star Wars you think. I'm rolling through Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, the OG on back compat. So, which
OG NLG.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because I'm old.
Yeah.
The O stands for old.
Old.
Get off the lawn. Get off my lawn, gamer. That's what
Yeah. So, all right. So, John, what an interesting shirt you have on.
Oh, it's my Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to play that.
Every time I come on, I'm going to wear a gaming shirt. I've got like 50 of them, so I'm just going to pick one each night. Maybe Assassin's Creed next time, you know.
Okay. Hey, that's cool. But Chris has a selection of gaming hats. And,
Not tonight.
no, not tonight. So,
I've got one for later, but I'm waiting to put it on.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So what have you been up to, John?
Well, Mike, actually, I've been playing Death Stranding, and I absolutely love the game. But I took a break for a while. I've been real busy at work, and what I did is I played some smaller indie games. There were about 6 games that I played. One of them was Iron Snout, Zeropian Invasion, Siberian, the Time Traveling Warrior, Mechabolt, Hymno, and Attack of the Toy Tanks. And I started playing these games, and they were actually easy platinums. I got all 6 platinums in one night.
So that's why you're playing them.
But I want sometimes when I'm playing a long game, I'll like go off of that for a while, and I'll play some easy games or just something to kind of break the monotony up a little bit. And but yeah, those games are all great. Some of them are like hack and slash. The Zeropian Invasion is kind of like a shooter game. It's kind of like a Galaga style. And Galaga was one of my all-time favorite arcade games. So, you know, I kind of really was digging that. The Attack of the Toy Tanks is pretty good. It's like a twin stick shooter. The only problem is the controls, in my opinion, aren't very good on it. But, you know, they were fun nonetheless. I think I played through all 6 of them probably within about 7 hours and got 6 platinums for those. So, and other than Death Stranding, I'm getting further along in the game, but I was told to go through and just do the main storyline first and then go back and then try to get the deliveries maxed out and whatnot. But I usually don't play my games like that. I kind of am a completionist, and I do each little step as I go along. So it's taken me forever to get through the game. I've been playing that, and I need one more trophy on the Grid racing game to get my platinum.
Nice.
And Grid's real nice. And Peter, I don't know if you played it. I know you like racing games. But Grid's is good. It's not like a Forza or Gran Turismo. It's kind of arcadey, but it is a real good pickup and just race. There's lots of cars, there's lots of tracks, so it's kind of got an arcadey feel to it. But man, I'm really enjoying it. So
nice.
Those are the kind of games I'm playing. And then as Mike knows, you guys know, I recently bought one of those 1-Up arcade machines.
Yes, look over his left shoulder.
Yeah.
The other side.
I got the other way. Yeah. But it's real nice. And I've been hearing things about them, so I thought, well, I'll go out and buy one. So I put it together. It took me about an hour, 15 minutes to put together. It's got 4 games that are Capcom games.
Final Fight,
1944, Loop Master, Ghost and Goblins, and Strider, Strider I played on the Xbox a long time ago. I think that was a game that I bought a long time ago. But it's really nice, and the controls are intuitive on the 1-Up system. It has a real awesome arcade feel, and even my wife Shamra, we loved it. We played it all night. We got it home, and all you could hear was the button tapping. You know,
that's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So cool. Yeah, I saw your little video on Twitter.
Yeah, so
I was playing Ghosts and Goblins.
Well, Mike was talking about last time I was on the show. Mike was talking about getting that Star Wars one, and I'd like to have that too. But
I can't
for some reason, he got me all excited about it. So I saw them, and they had them on sale just right after Christmas, and they were marked down to $199. So I went ahead and bought one. And
the Final Fight. The Final Fight.
Yeah, they had several of them. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and the Star Wars 1-Up arcade, they're a little more expensive.
Yeah, because the TMNT one's 4-player.
Right. And the Star Wars one has the officially licensed controller. It's got the actual, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, did you hear in the CES what they announced?
No.
Like I think it was NBA Jam.
Yep.
Multiplayer.
Yeah, online.
Oh, wow.
Online.
Whoa, it's online. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and the other thing, what I'm more interested in is they also have something going on with Zen Studios with the Pinball FX.
Yeah.
So they're coming out with some kind of virtual pinball machine.
If they come out with if they actually come out with a pinball machine, that's going to be sweet.
Yeah,
I've
seen some people build their own, and that looks really good.
So
There's some other companies that have some virtual pinballs, also based on like Pinball FX and other stuff, but.
So
I have to hear in the States. It might be across the pond.
I'm putting away money.
But I'm all ears.
I'm putting away money for the one that they're selling, the limited edition Burger Time cabinet. So they announced that it's Burger Time, Karate Champ, Caveman Ninja, and Bad Dudes. I know.
Well, since we're talking about this CES show, I know Mike will appreciate this. January 7th, we're a couple days past, but 38 years ago is when the Commodore 64 was introduced at the Consumer Electronics Show. So
Commodore 64.
So
that's the best console. That's the best console ever made.
So consoles can be revealed at the CES.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Wait a minute. That was a computer. That's not a console.
Yes, well,
I don't know.
It was
gaming.
Yeah, it was gaming computer. Yeah, it was awesome, though.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's not the same thing. That's like saying my Atari 1200 was a console. No.
Well, it did, Mike. Now, wait a second. It did have a cartridge slot in the back of the keyboard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
my 12 my Atari 800 had two slots, two cartridge
That's right.
slots. and a
keyboard support.
See, even the indie gamer says Commodore 64 was my first console. See,
Indy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Indy.
Mine too. That was.
That's like saying that's like saying the Nintendo Switch is a console. Come on.
I would say it's a computer, but.
Yeah, it's a computer.
Because of the cartridge slot, though, for me, it was like the gaming computer because that's pretty much all I did with it. But man, what a great computer it was for games. I mean,
a
lot of stuff.
I remember. So I had the Atari 800, and then the 1200 XL, and that's almost the two things I did on that were play games and run a bulletin board system. That's it. I didn't do anything else. Well, I got on CompuServe. I did that, but that was about it. So,
but yeah, I thought that was an interesting tidbit.
Yeah,
the 38 years ago, it was back in 1982 was when it was revealed, and I thought, man, that's pretty awesome.
Where were you when the Commodore 64 was revealed?
What's up, Z Black Rider?
Hey, Z Black, what's up, brother? Before we move on, we have a couple of things here. First and foremost, John, it is time for the product of the week.
Yeah. Oh, I love this, guys. Thank you.
My baloney has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say
I miss this.
Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
I can't keep
Oscar Mayer, first name in Bologna.
Bologna.
I love it.
John, the product of the week.
Oscar Mayer Bologna, the first name in Bologna.
And that might have been you in the picture, in the video.
Now, he kind of looks like a little Starsky and Hutch. Remember that show?
Does.
The one with the dark curly hair? Yeah, he's got the fro going on there. Yeah.
He does look like a young Starsky.
You know, it's
Bourne
funny.
is
So
leaving me with
I've never
that.
really watched the old Starsky and Hutch one, but I played that game.
I
Oh, no,
played that
look what
game.
Born Distracted said. He said, looks like Stinger with hair.
Nice.
Um,
Disney said, "What's going on here?" He's gonna go back to Cognito and say, "Do you know what these guys are doing on their show?
yeah.
They're showing
Bunch of
baloney
baloney.
commercials." Well, you
They're
missed
selling
it
baloney.
last. You missed it last time. Last time, Dizzy, we did Tootsie Rolls. So,
Oh, yeah.
for those who don't know, back in the day when John and I were doing the show together, we just to have some fun, we did a product of the week, and it was like Ginsu knives and the Showtime rotisserie and all that stuff that we just did. It was just something crazy. So John's gonna be bringing that back.
Oh, yeah. It's.
I like the retro commercials.
Yes, and we're trying to get the retro commercials in at that.
The retros are actually like, I don't know, man. They're just
Ah.
much better. They kind of grab that
I think
childhood spirit that we had.
I
you
know.
Nowadays you don't see commercials. You just
No.
fast forward
No.
straight through it.
well,
Either
unless
automatically
Next week,
or
Born Distracted.
Bourne's got our next one for 2 weeks
Yeah.
from now.
There you go.
The
Where's the beast?
retro Wendy's.
Oh, yeah. Where's the beef?
So we'll get to that one. So yes, that is the NLG product of the week, Oscar Mayer bologna. So
I'm all hungry.
all right, so let's get to some fun here, guys. They're really, I mean, obviously CES, lots of news and lots of stuff that's come out from CES, but more than anything,
Announcement of my new TV.
what?
The new LG OLED.
Oh, I thought you got.
It's
thought you
it's
got
like
one.
all those TVs nowadays are all geared towards gaming and stuff.
Well, they are.
They are. Even there's some QLEDs that I'm kind of interested in. They've got like very low latency.
Very
Like-
low latency, and it's all G-Sync, FreeSync enabled and stuff. It's like, damn. It's like
That's the kind of the one I'm getting, Peter. I think I'm going to aim for one of those QLEDs just because of the lower latency. I'm kind of interested in that.
and I think that's what 8K TVs is going to drive. It's gaming. It's not regular broadcasts. But that's my
That's
my take on
where-
it.
That's where we're headed.
Yeah, Born Distracted knows what I'm talking about.
And they've got those Samsung. Samsung's got some really nice widescreen monitors for PC. They're huge that also have low latency, and they're specifically for gaming. So they've got one at Best Buy that's around $800, but it's a gaming monitor, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, those things. That's out of my price range. I still love my Walmart Samsung TV, but
Right.
But
And
yeah,
they showed up the Hennessy, the cheap WalMarts too. They showed like 4 different versions or something like that.
the Hennessy. Is that their brand?
I don't know. They sell them at Walmart, and I'm not. It's a Japanese name. I'm not saying it right. But.
Hennessy, man. First we had bologna, now we've got alcohol.
I have no
But
idea.
They're like the TCL brand. They're the
No, I
cheaper
think
ones, so.
they're that's they're
Even
called
TCL's going to have 8K TVs.
apparently
Yeah.
they are called something. Let's see. So I don't know. Hennessy TV
Hennessy.
sets. Here we go. Oh no! You click on that on Walmart, it takes you to definitely takes you to booze. So you get what happens is you drink the Hennessy, and then the
Right.
$2,000 TV looks like an $8,000 TV.
Right.
So
Hey, what's
that's
that car called? And also something like Hennessy something.
Hummer.
No.
Okay.
No, it's an exclusive sports car. And they're handmade. Maybe John knows.
Oh, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
And like Indy put it in the chat, it's like Hisense or Hisense or something like that. Whatever.
Hisense
Yeah.
sounds about right. Oh yeah, the Hennessy Venom GT is a high-performance sports car
There you go.
manufactured by Texas-based Hennessy Performance Engineering.
Yeah.
The Venom GT
Oh, yeah.
is based on the Lotus Elise.
They're based on
That's a
Exige.
nice car.
Houston, I think.
Yeah. Wonder how much that thing costs. The fastest road legal car from 0 to 186 miles per hour with an average acceleration time of 13.63 seconds.
Wow.
In addition, the car set an unofficial record for the 0 to 200 mile per hour acceleration at 14.51 seconds, beating the Koenigsegg's Agera R. Wow.
I think you guys would all have to agree, though, that all these TVs, you'll notice the technology, it's moving so fast that you can actually get even a middle line TV that's good enough for gaming at a pretty decent price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of options out there now, and the prices seem to be coming down. I know they're kind of ushering in this 8K stuff and whatnot, but right now would be a great time to probably pick up one of the televisions, the 4K, you know, and I've seen some that are priced very reasonable, you know.
I mean, I had the TCL. I bought that last year, and
Yeah.
I bought it for $3 something. It's a 55-inch.
I've got a Samsung.
I think they rate pretty good for gaming.
8000 series. I've got a 50-inch, but I don't like playing anything larger than that. It's just you got too much head movement to move around on the screen. You know,
Well, it depends on how far back you sit. I mean, I've got the 7100 series 75-inch, but
Right.
I sit 13 feet back. So
Yeah,
Right.
then you'll need that.
yeah.
I'm about 10 foot back. You're right, Mike. I have to sit further back, you know.
You have to. Yeah.
You have to, yeah.
So, but the quality of the picture on those Samsungs. I mean, I only paid the 7100 series was only, I think it was like $18.99, something like that. It wasn't terribly expensive. It's why I got picked on for buying a cheap TV. But I'll tell you what, it's gorgeous. The picture.
I got picked on for the 8000 series, Mike, and it doesn't matter what you do.
Screw them. So, but the picture quality on these is great, and you're right. The technology is moving so fast that you could pretty much get one at a great price now.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, but
yeah,
Nate,
I have good TVs for almost every budget.
Nate says 1700's not cheap. It is in the grand scheme of going off and buying it's not an OLED. It's not it's just a standard 4K rear projection TV. So,
right.
But I love it. So, hey, Dreadpool, what's up, brother? There was a lot of other, you don't necessarily, and there wasn't a lot. You don't necessarily get gaming news from CES. You're not supposed to. But the one thing that we did get, which generated a whole lot of buzz, and along with it, of course, memes, was the PS5 logo, which is now official.
There it is.
And
the 4 got replaced by a 5.
The 4 got replaced by a 5. So there you have it. Not a lot of other information, and that's okay because they're going to reveal this thing at a later time. So
they rattled off some numbers.
Right, they rattled
5 million PSVRs, just nice.
106 million PS4s. I mean, look, like I get it. The CES is not about gaming, but it is about hardware tech, right? Like showing off, right? So my only thing is when you have the media attention there, there's some buzz. Everybody's waiting to see what a PS5 looks like. Why couldn't they just reveal the look of it? You don't have to go into all this other detail just to look. What was the point of even showing a PowerPoint presentation about the PS4 did all this, and that? Like, I don't care about that.
Well,
you don't hear LG saying or Samsung saying we sold so many.
Yeah, it's like that's a PowerPoint presentation for for your investors. That don't mean nothing to me.
But that presentation wasn't all about the PS5. It was simply that was part of their overall, because it is. Look, for whether Sony likes it or not, the PlayStation is their largest division right now. Their TVs are not their receivers are not, their home theater and electronic stuff is not their big moneymaker anymore. It's PlayStation. So in that sense, they're gonna talk about it a little bit. And Born Distracted is right. E3 was born from CES, but that diverged. I mean, I went to a summer CES in Chicago, a long time ago to see that stuff. But once E3 was born, now I'm still.
What they could have done, they could have shown the PS5. Just the front of it.
That's what I'm saying.
They could have.
It's like this hardware shows. Like
Microsoft.
You're gonna show a car. You can't show the look of the PS5.
They might not have. I mean, it's very possible that they don't have a final design yet.
That's what I was thinking, Michael. I think they may have 2 or 3 things they're tossing around. I'm not so sure they've actually got something set in stone yet. I mean, so far all I've seen are like dev kits out in the wild, and fans of the console, like their variation of what it might look like, or something with the Roman numeral 5 kind of, So I don't know. I'm not so sure they've got it actually locked down yet.
I mean,
you would think
it has to be pretty close, though.
I
mean, in the sense of like, your whole
8-9 months away
heat
from
and ventilation and air intakes and other stuff. I mean, it has to be pretty nailed down by now if you want to sell the console in like less than a year.
I know one thing. I feel sorry for Xbox and PlayStation because, as you guys all know, I'd be scared to death trying to come up with a look for a console. Everybody's so picky. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be scared to death. No matter what you do, somebody like they don't like the look of the Xbox or the PlayStation. It's too fat. It's too skinny. It's too tall. It's the wrong color. I mean, it's got to be a tough decision on what to decide on what to make your console look like.
Yeah.
Which should be the last thing you have to think about. Unless you're doing it to maximize airflow and stuff. Like I can get designs, like designs for performance. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Microsoft got hammered for 3 generations on the look of their, the original Xbox looked like a VCR, that kind of thing. I mean, even the Xbox One got hammered for being too big.
Yeah, I've never really disliked any of the consoles I bought. Even the original Xbox One, I never even when I bought that, I got it day one, the day one edition. I still have it. I refused to trade it in. I had no problem with the way it looked when it first came out. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that the only thing I don't like about the base PS4 that I have is it doesn't have a USB slot in the back. So my PSVR, the USB's plugged in the front, and it just looks a little off. But other than that, even the look of that, people were making like people made fun of the PS3. Remember the Foreman grill, but I didn't have a problem with that either.
It's like the Dreamcast. I mean, it looked like a little Belgian waffle maker. But it was awesome. It did. It's compact, fat and stout, but it looks like a little Belgian waffle maker.
I'm a little Belgian waffle maker.
We're losing viewers right now because you make them hungry and they start making a snack and they
right. Then they stop chatting. I mean, we have to stop talking food.
Peter's sweating. He's hungry.
He's getting the meat sweats from Oscar Mayer.
Come on.
So now,
like I actually like the dev kit look of the PS5. I mean, like John said, the Roman numeral 5. The 25th anniversary is coming up. I mean, it'd be kind of cool, to have it to where you can stand it up, and you got the.
Well, it's funny, I saw all the memes. They had the Xbox, they had the log like in the fireplace. Then they had the PlayStation on the vacuum or whatever. And I thought, man, these guys are relentless. It doesn't. That goes back to my point that no matter what you do, somebody's going to take that shape and twist it into something funny. But so it's got to be a tough decision, man. I wouldn't want it.
Did you see all the memes that came out about the Xbox One X Series X because it looks more
Yeah.
like an Alexa than it does a
Refrigerator.
PC? Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff on there was funny.
Or the one that looks like they made it a trash can and then put the PS5 in the trash can. Like,
Well, I don't really think even if a console's like a little bit larger or smaller, whatever you do, people are going to find a place to put it. That's like my PC or your guys. You're going to find a place to put it. This stuff about it having to be so compact that it blends in with everything, I don't necessarily agree with that, especially with these consoles, like with all the teraflops and all the RAM and all the extra power and then running at 3.2 gigahertz, you got to have some kind of airflow in these things,
Mm-hmm.
all I care about is not about the shape, but is it quiet and does it do its thing?
Right. Does it play your games? Do you love it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So, there wasn't much else kind of talked about with the PS5 other than, like I said, they did some numbers. They did show some of the hardware features that, we kind of knew about already. So 3D audio sound, which the PS4 had. So, I'm assuming that they're talking about bringing Dolby Atmos into the PS5, which would be good because games and movies that support Atmos are gorgeous. It's absolutely wild. I'll tell you what I want in my next gen. I want to be able to hook up a chair like I had at the movies when we saw Star Wars and have the chair freaking rumble with the bass. That's what I want.
Right.
Haptics and adaptive triggers. It's nothing new, but it's nice to have. Of course, the ultra high speeds SSD. That's going to be a big thing on both consoles. I mean, loading speeds and stuff like that. How fast these things are going to come up. Because thinking about it, because Peter, you and I know too how fast SSD drives are. One of the things that I like about both the Xbox and the PlayStation is its ability to go into a rest mode, right? Where it kind of save states instead of shuts down.
Right.
Because of the SSD, save state might not be even necessary. If it boots up that fast from dark, as long as
so you save this state in the middle of your game,
Well, no, the other thing too, the reason that I like it for the Xbox is because I can turn it on with a personal assistant. So I could say, Google, turn on my Xbox. If it's off, I can't do that. I can only do that in the rest mode. So if they can figure out how to do that and just, fresh boot every time it comes up, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
So, hardware-based ray tracing, which we knew was going to happen. And then, of course, so this one's going to actually have a 4K Blu-ray player. So,
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. So, what up, BZ? And Native. What's up, Native? I said hi in the chat, but Native's in the house. Yep, I mean, so after that, Jim Ryan did tell Business Insider Japan that there's more to the console than this. So, again, this was
They left one big thing out. Games.
well, because this is CES. I mean, look,
I know.
Microsoft wasn't even there. The only reason that you heard anything about the only two things that happened as a result of CES with the Xbox was Phil Spencer putting the chip as his new Twitter profile, which didn't have anything to do with CES, but
at least it's hardware.
It's yes, it's the chip. Yeah. It is the chip. So that is a cool thing. That and the other thing was AMD incorrectly showing off the back of the console.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So morons. Yeah, they found this is how stupid this was. Like usually you say, whatever, they made a mistake. No, they they picked up somebody else's screenshot. I don't know if it was some
3D render.
Yeah, some 3D render that some guy on the internet made.
Yeah.
And
Turbosquid.com
and decided that was going to be what they were going to use to show off the Xbox. And Microsoft had to jump in and say, "Whoa, that's not ours." So, and
but why did AMD even do that in the first place?
I don't know.
Instead of wouldn't they know what's on the back of the?
They don't.
So why even show that? I mean, and then Xbox,
why didn't Microsoft provide the images?
Why didn't they just say, okay, that's not the real one, here's the real one? But
it's still nothing.
No, because I don't think they. So see again, Microsoft had nothing to do with CES. This was all AMD. So AMD wanted to do this because they wanted to talk about the fact that their chip was in the Xbox One Series X. But I don't think that Microsoft had any real inkling to show anything at the show. Hey, what's up, Shizno? I don't think they had any inkling of doing anything. They're going to do their own reveal, and then hopefully E3 is going to mean something again, and they're going to do it all out game splits. Because remember, Phil said all 15 of our studios are making games for this console. So I expected E3 to finally see what, poaching every developer from every third party gets you with the initiative.
Yeah.
So,
although when you see how many people they're still hiring and stuff, like a bunch of senior stuff, it's like I don't know how close they are to releasing anything anytime soon.
Well, no, I don't think they're going to release a game. I don't think the initiative's game is going to release in 2020. I think whatever they're working on might release in 2022. But they got to show something at this point. They have to show something. Concept.
But are they going to show anything in 2021? Something coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 22 before we finally have They
said they have something playable. Because I've followed the initiative on Twitter, and they have something playable. They've had other people from other studios come over, and they're collaborating also too. So it's something there. I wouldn't be surprised if they reveal something to C3 and then it can maybe releases 21.
Yeah.
Because when did they form them up? They formed up about a year ago?
Was it a year ago? 2018. No. Yeah, so it was. Yeah, it was 2018. But
21 would be a good 3 years, depending on we'll see.
And they might have something. They might, but they need to. I think this year they need to show at least a concept vertical, something that shows what they're working on, and then the following year they can show gameplay.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
time will tell.
Yeah. So getting back to the PS5 though, I'm assuming that we're going to get a full hardware reveal sometime in the next 2 months.
For the PlayStation 5? Yeah, I think so.
Didn't they do that before? I'm thinking they'll do it around February, Michael. I think there's an event coming up February. I think you're going to hear something, and then I think at E3 or whenever you're going to see the full announcement, kind of like like they did with the PS4, where they announced it back in like February or March, and then around the E3 time, I think that's like CES to me. It's not really. I've never really. It's only been my second time that I've watched that since they've had that. So I don't even. And I've been gaming a lot for long years. So it's not. I think the reason they didn't show it at CES. I mean, there's probably a lot of gamers that don't watch that show. I mean, it's not a.
True.
It's
not a big market. I mean, if I was going to release my console, like when the Xbox did it, they did the Game Awards. They had millions of viewers. And I thought that was pretty smart when they kind of, talked about. So I think Sony's probably going to wait for something that's got a little bigger draw, from the audience.
Absolutely.
So I think in February you'll hear more about it, and then probably we'll know something soon. But
Yeah.
I'm excited about both, though. My problem is there's a whole bunch of games coming out in the next 3 to 4 months, and I'm still going to be playing games by the time these consoles come out on the current system. So I got to move my butt, man. I got to get gaming.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the next thing is games. I mean, there are a lot. This year is going to be insane for gaming.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this could easily, just in my estimation, be one of the best years for gaming as far as what's coming out from everywhere, from all walks in years. I mean, Microsoft and Sony have some huge titles coming out this year, and going all the way through the end of the year. So I mean, if you want to, I don't know where you guys want to start as far as big games for this year, but I mean, for me, I think we're starting out with I think we're starting out with like Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, rather. I'm sorry. So we're
when does that come out, Mike? When's the release date on it?
Comes out in Feb. Hold on, let me get the release list up. John, Jeff. So John, I don't know if you know if he's. I know he's in there. Project Jeff. Project Jeff is he's our roaming encyclopedia. So he'll have this before I find it.
I made it's funny you're talking about. I made a list of a few games that were coming out and their release dates just between now and May, and there's a ton of games.
Yeah, so they're saying March 11th. So I'm pointing as if everybody knows where I'm pointing. Yeah, I mean, we're starting off with Microsoft is starting off with some heavy stuff. I mean, we're going to get that. I think we're getting Flight Simulator this year. We're getting We're getting Wasteland 3 this year. Minecraft Dungeons this year. Those are just the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. What have you got on your list there, John?
Well, February 14th, Dreams comes out.
Dreams, right?
Dreams comes out. So I'm pretty excited about that one, and then I'm probably going to pick this one up. February 28th is the Iron Man VR.
Oh, right.
So,
the Marvel, yeah.
March 3rd, you have the Final Fantasy VII remake. March 13th, you got Neo 2, the second Neo game, and I absolutely love the first one. So the second one's actually, I thought, was a little bit harder when I played the beta or the preview of it. But Neo 2 comes out, and then...
I got to beat
that.
Oh,
go ahead, Chris. And then May 29th, The Last of Us 2, and then Ghost of Tsushima sometime in the summertime. So those were some games that I'm kind of looking at, but that's just within a few months, you know. So Neo 2 is going to be one that I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. If you like Bloodborne, Souls type games, the first one was extremely difficult.
Yes, it was.
And when I first started playing it, I thought, oh, God, what the hell did I get into? But I'm real stubborn. So those kind of games, what you got to do is you just got to stick with it. And I know people say you got to get good. You just kind of got to take an ass beating. And then finally, over and over, you finally get strong enough and you work your way past the enemies and you figure out how to play it. It's kind of like the old school games, how they used to be. So I'll definitely be getting that. But the Iron Man VR sounds like a lot of fun too. Be a good time to pull out the VR helmet and fly around as Tony Stark.
Now the only problem, the only reason I'm not, or at least not right now, getting that is because it requires the requires the Move controllers, which I don't have.
Oh, finally a game that actually requires them.
Yes.
Yeah. I used the Move controllers in the Batman VR, but that was like only one of the few. There weren't a whole lot, and that I actually used the Move controllers with. But the Batman one I did, it seemed to work better with the Move controllers.
I like that gun for using with what's the game called?
I've got it up on my shelf, Peter. I forgot the name of it. I can't. I'm too old. I can't even read it.
Well, think about for just a minute. Let's just think about March. So, as you were pointing out, John, and just to reiterate because there's a couple games that were not on your list but are big games. So, as you were saying, March 3rd is Final Fantasy VII Remake, right?
Right.
March 11th is Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Another big one.
Right? 2 days later is Neo 2. And then 14, 15, 16. 4 days after that is MLB The Show 20. There's Fastback.
There he is.
There he is.
It's really him.
He said,
There he is.
I'm taking my room back. Look at that hat. Look at that hat. I haven't gotten mine yet. Look at that hat.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
no.
it's an NLG from Teespring that Graphic God, had, right? Set up. But I got another hat to show off.
Uh-oh.
I guess it's time for Battle of the Hats then.
Here we go. Oh!
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, hell. I'm getting there, Andy. I'm getting there. Ooh.
Nice.
Little ILP.
Yeah.
Nice.
Iron Lords podcast.
But,
shout out to those guys.
Yeah. So. Hey, by the way, I'm not to bring the show. I meant to do this earlier because I don't know why this reminded me of it, but some of our friends and stuff that's out there, and I'm looking at the chat room and I'm forgetting he's not in the chat room at the moment. Just everybody, put your prayer hats on and shoot some prayers over to Italian Clowns, our brother from Four Guys a Quarters. Carlo, his wife was in a really bad car accident, and I meant to do this earlier, and I wanted to before this show ended. I want to make sure I get that out. And she's not in great shape tonight, so I just wanted to take a quick minute. Everybody, just send him your well wishes, thoughts, and prayers, guys. If you don't have him on Twitter already, it is he's at Italian Clowns, I think. I have to look it up, but yeah, please send him your thoughts and prayers. So anyway,
definitely.
yeah. So all right. So March 17th is the show, and keep that hat on, John.
Oh, okay.
Keep that hat on.
Yeah. There we go. I got a whole bunch of hats, but I'll wear this for a while.
Nice.
He now represents Nintendo.
Yes. So we haven't left March yet. So March 17th, the show 20. March 20th is Doom 64 for the Switch and PS4. And I think it's coming. I don't think it's coming to Xbox, but it says a Switch and no, it is coming to Xbox. So PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. Doom 64 was a damn cool Doom. So
there's a tennis game that came out today, didn't it? AO Tennis, January 9th for PC, PS4, Xbox, and Switch.
Let's see.
There's a
January
tennis
9th.
game.
Hold on, I'm just sliding up. For those of you who want to look at this yourself, yep, AO Tennis 2 for PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One.
It's for all of them. Yeah.
Designed for and by its community. Create your own players, stadium, and legendary matches. Enter the competition. I haven't played a good tennis game in a while. I might have to check that out.
I'm interested, yeah.
I fire up honest to goodness, fire up the Dreamcast sometimes just to play Virtua Tennis.
Good game.
Just to play Virtua Tennis.
And January 16th, Michael, Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is their new, this is really their soft reboot. Kiryu Kazuma, he's not the main lead role protagonist anymore. They've got a new protagonist. So I think this will be like the 8th game in the whole series, but it's kind of like a soft reboot. So that comes out January 16th. And then there's another game called A Long Way Down that's for the PC and Switch also, and it comes out January 16th. But all those games you listed, Ori, all these Xbox games, PlayStation games, games for the Switch and PC, I mean, chock full of games.
Oh, wait, I wasn't done.
I'm having trouble finishing the ones I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't even done yet. We were just on the 20th. So the same day Doom 64 comes out, Doom Eternal comes out, which is day one for me. Jeff says, does the tennis mini game in GTA?
No, that's actually pretty fun though. I played that a lot. That's actually the mini games actually. Awesome.
The tennis game on the OG Xbox you might be thinking of is Top Spin. Shizno. That was Microsoft's tennis game that they then sold to 2K. So yeah, Doom Eternal, and then it went downhill. Doom Eternal, and then the same day those two are out, Animal Crossing New Horizons comes out for the Switch. So that's when you're getting your new Animal Crossing game. 4 days. Yep, I'm quite sure. 4 days after that, Bleeding Edge comes out for the PC and Xbox One. The first of 2 games from Ninja Theory.
Nice.
And then Persona 5 Royale comes out on the 31st. And Half-Life Alyx, the VR Half-Life, comes out then. So that's just March. That is insane. Yeah. That is just March.
Probably still be playing The Witcher.
No.
You know, Peter, I played The Witcher 3. I put in like 320 hours in that game.
See, there you go.
I played I played all of them. I played the first one on the PC. Then I played Witcher 2 on Xbox 360 and then The Witcher 3 on Xbox One. But man, I love those games. I mean, I don't know. Some people have issues with the combat, like the controls and stuff. I like any other game, you get used to the combat if you practice. And I didn't have much, and I played on the hard level. I can't remember what it's called, Peter. You might remember. What's the hard level?
I don't know. Hard.
Yeah. But man, what a great story, you know. It's a good game.
That is a good game.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to show a little bit of game footage while we're talking of just videos that I have that I've been grabbing as we've talked about games in the past. So here's Doom Eternal, the story trailer. I wish I had a Neo 2. I don't think I have anything for Neo, unfortunately. But that was I have for the original from E3 way back. But and so I mean, just such good. So then we get into the Q1 2020 is how releases.com shows it. I don't know if you guys had seen. I know it's backward compatible, but they're remaking. Remember, they're remastering the Destroy All Humans games. So that's coming. Yeah. So that's coming Q1. What else we got here? We've got here we go. April. Resident Evil 3 in April. That's April 3rd. Another game that was not on your list, Johnny, forgot about. Cyberpunk 2077 comes out April 16th.
That's right.
And that's going to be huge. That's going to be a huge game.
Yeah.
That game is going to be breathtaking.
I tell you what, I haven't been really disappointed by anything that CD Projekt Red's done. They seem to really, work hard at the game. So I'm really looking forward to that.
They do it right,
Yeah.
They do it right. So, and here's CD Projekt. Here's Cyberpunk. Predator Hunting Grounds, Trials of Mana comes out. Gears Tactics comes out on April 28th.
I wonder if they'll do, Mike. Remember when The Witcher? I remember when it came out, and I was playing on the Xbox, and you could buy the Ultimate edition, but they only charged like $20 extra. It was quite a bargain, like compared to what some of these other. And I got all the DLC for. They were real cost effective when it came to their DLC. CD Projekt Red. I thought they did an awesome job instead of charging arm and a leg for it.
Yeah, I do too. This game is gonna be incredible. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that doesn't think that this game is going to, be just if not a Game of the Year candidate, this is going to go up. This is the game that's going to go up against The Last of Us 2 and Halo Infinite for Game of the Year, because I can't think of much else that's gonna be in that list right now. But I think it's gonna come down to one of those games. But this game is amazing, and it's gonna be amazing.
It looks cool.
Mm-hmm. So, at the also
Cyberpunk.
Yes, but
and
also
this is based off the board game, right? Cyberpunk.
Is it a board game?
It was a board game first.
Is it a board game or a You might be right. I can't remember if it was a board game or if it was a book series.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
I don't know. I'm looking it up. He's right. It's a tabletop RPG. So it's inspired by works like Blade Runner, Necromancer, Ghost in the Shell, and Shadowrun. So yeah, started out as a board game. But I mean, this is going to be just a hot title. So,
like you said, I mean, all these games at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We don't even know what will get announced at E3.
Exactly.
I didn't see, because we talked about this on WDFC last week. I don't remember seeing the release for the new Watch Dogs.
Oh, that's right.
Legionnaire.
Is that thing still coming though?
Supposed to be coming out this year.
I thought so. I played the first two and enjoyed both of them, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see. I'm looking to see.
Yeah, I'm not sure when that's supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, because normally Ubisoft always has a game that comes out the first part of the year. So far they don't have a game announced, because even the pirate game that they have got delayed, and they haven't given
Skull and Bones or something.
Skull and Bones, which
well, I guess with all these good games coming out, I guess even though the new consoles are coming out, maybe they're not under a whole bunch of pressure of coming up with a whole bunch of day one releases on the new consoles. I mean, you've got all these games. Yeah. It might be kind of a slow transition. They may not necessarily have to come out with, a whole bunch of launch titles.
Yeah, I actually remember now because we talked about this. We talked about this at the end of October on the show. Ubisoft pushed Watch Dogs Legions along with Rainbow Six, Quarantine, and Gods and Monsters back to 2020, 2021.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because
it's their fiscal year 2021?
Yeah, fiscal year.
So I'm not sure when it started. It's
fiscal year is April 1.
Okay.
So anytime between April 1, 2020 and March 31st, 2021. So, I mean, Watch Dogs Legion could be a fall. I mean, it could be a fall. I don't know.
Yeah. But I can see it coming out early 21.
I don't even see it on. I don't even see it on the list on releases.com.
No, it's not, because they don't know when. And
but not even like quarter or something. It's like, completely not on the list.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure, because I had to go back to our Game Press thing to look to see.
Yeah.
No. The other thing, by the way, that comes out in April that it's not going to get. I don't think it's a swept under the rug title, but certainly one that, as a dad, I'm waiting on, and that's the trailer I'm getting ready to show now, and that's Minecraft Dungeons.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I'm not a Minecraft guy at all. I don't play these. I don't play Roblox. I don't play any of that stuff. But this looks great. And I showed this to my 10-year-old who loves Minecraft, and he's like, "Daddy, you're gonna play this with me, right?" Yup, I sure as hell am.
You know, Mike, I like Minecraft, but it's the most unusual game for me because like I'll play it and I'll go back into my save worlds and I'll play it, I'll binge on it. You know, I'll play it for 2 or 3 days and then I won't touch it for long. But then I always go back to it and then I play it.
Well, luckily for me, this will be in Game Pass because so I'll be able to play it while still buying Cyberpunk.
Now, what's different about this one, Mike? Do you know the gist? I don't. What's the story behind this one?
So, as you can see, so you see it on the screen, right? You're seeing it.
Right.
So this is not your typical first-person go and build stuff. This is an isometric 3D. Think of this as the Minecraft version of games like Diablo 3 and Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, those the original Fallouts, not the Fallout 3s and stuff like that. The overhead. This is an action RPG, is what this is.
Gotcha.
So you're not necessarily building anything. You're going through it just looks like blocks, and it's all characters.
You're in the Minecraft world, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's pre-built, and you're just going through levels. So you see your guy there, and he just takes on enemies. So, but it's awesome because it's co-op, and so
Look
it's
how
couch
fast
co-op.
he pulls out that bow. Pew pew pew.
Yep. So you can have your hammer, and so in that RPG style, you can set your weaponry and all that stuff. And there's all kinds of there's the map, so but
I think
it's
this
all
is gonna be big.
I think so too.
I mean, you got a big following of Minecraft already.
Yeah.
And this is just gonna add to it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to play it with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because
this
it's-
does look like fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks serious enough that I'll enjoy it, and it's not just going to be like a little. This does not look like a little kiddie game to me. It just looks like Minecraft, but it looks pretty serious. So,
It's for all the ages.
yes. And this one is Xbox One and Windows. So this one's not coming to anything else at the moment. Although I could see this coming to the Switch.
Didn't it say that underneath? It said Switch and PS4.
Where? Oh, yes, it
Right
does.
there.
Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't let the video go fast enough.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, Switch and PS4. So, I was going to say, I can see it coming out on the Switch. Well, that's because on the screen it says Switch. So,
Is it online co-op crossplay?
now that they didn't say, but you know what? You have me going and looking at the website there, the Minecraft.net. Unless
Cool if they did.
unless Encyclopedia Jeff can grab that information before I do.
Another game that's coming out in February is 2 Point Hospital. 2 consoles, that is. It's already out on PC.
Yeah, so do you know a lot about that?
Design stunning hospitals, cure peculiar illnesses, and manage troublesome staff as you spread your budding healthcare organization across 2 Point County. It's a fun game. I played a little bit on PC. It's fun.
Okay, so you've actually
And
played
it's
it.
coming and it's coming to Game Pass, so you'll be able to play it too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
Mike, don't you have a date with the Intellivision thing coming up?
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
The Intellivision Amico.
Right.
While you guys are fighting over the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, I'm going to be over here playing Astro Smash. So, and
Right.
Night Stalker. I can't wait for that. And I got, so he probably doesn't even remember it, but I got farther than I got before. I said, Tommy, I need to get you on the show, and he said, let's do it. So
Yeah.
I am going to figure out how to get a hold of him, and we are going to make that happen. And Tommy Tallarico is going to be on this show before the Amico launches. That is my goal. So,
With or without the oof or oomph,
right,
sound.
right, with or without that. You know what? I'd let him come on here and play it the whole time if he wanted.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that is, and then that's April. So then we get to May, and you may as well just take your wallet and shake it out and then burn it because you are done. So let's start with May 15th, the Avengers game. Right, so that's May 15th. That we're not even to the big game. We're just we're halfway through the month and we're at the Avengers. Then on the 19th is Wasteland 3.
Wasteland 3,
which is
Looking forward to that.
Yep, which is also coming to all consoles. Well, not the Switch, but PS4, Xbox, and PC, and Game Pass. Thank goodness, because.
Yeah, definitely save some dough.
Yeah, you're gonna need it because then
doesn't save you from backlog, but
it does not. It does not. So, but that leads into the big game, May 22nd, Maneater, a game about sharks. Sharks.
Oh, I thought that was about my ex-wife.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Woo!
Okay. It's not gonna have that. It's not gonna have that. Do shark song in it, is it?
Right.
No.
Shark.
No, it's soundtrack by Hall & Oates.
Right. She's a man.
No, that's she's a maniac. You're just
Oh, I'm so old.
whoa, here she comes.
Yeah.
Watch out, boys, she'll chew you up. She's a man eater. All right. So then, May 29th comes
Fast and Furious, Crossroads.
Yes,
Best
right.
Best game of the year, right
Best
there.
game of the year, and it's the sequel to Tekken.
Yeah.
So here it is. We all know it.
Made by Sekiro.
Yes. Right. Game of the year, Sekiro. So then we get to May 29th, and the game that everyone in the entire generation is waiting for.
Oh, I still have to play the first one. I guess I have some time.
You got some time. So oh look, it's Red Dead Redemption 3.
Yeah, that horse animation looked really bad. That bothers me. They need to cut it and recut it.
They do. They need to just steal footage from Rockstar.
Yeah.
Look, here I have a confession.
Yeah.
I'm probably halfway through Last of Us, and it's cool, but it's not grabbing me like I expected everyone talking me into it to grab me. Like there's cool parts of it, and the story. There's like parts of the story that got me. Like I know, John, we talked about this the last time you were on about the story of The Last of Us and some of the grip in it. And I got that. And there's a couple of parts where I've kind of hit me in the feels, but as an overall game, it's not grabbing me like I thought it would, and I don't know why. This looks
maybe odd. There's been like sometimes I've played some games and I didn't play them when they came out right away, and because you can't get around to everything, so. There have been some times I've played a game like a year or two later, and for some reason, I don't know if it's because I didn't play it when it was fresh and hot, if that had something to do with it, or if I just didn't like it,
Yeah, and I don't, and don't get me wrong, I don't dislike it. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, I disliked. I don't dislike this game.
I haven't started that, Mike. I bought Red Dead Redemption 2. And I was so busy, I haven't started, and I heard some people that didn't like it. I kind of heard your little review on it, and Peter, what they thought about it. And I just haven't, for some reason, haven't wanted to start it yet.
Yeah.
It's worth a play. playthrough, but
It is. If you like spaghetti westerns, you like
play the
westerns,
first one.
You would.
Yeah.
Yes, play the first one. Play
I
Gun.
like them both, but
Gun. Oh man, Gun.
I
That's
still
an
have
awful-
Gun.
Yeah, me too. It's an awful game though. In order to get all the achievements, you have to do like 4 or 5 playthroughs, one for each difficulty level, because they're not they're not stackable.
It is a slow burn. See, there it is. It's a Western simulator. It's a horse simulator.
Yeah.
Look, King from ILP and I know what's up here. I got called out. I got called out for the slander, but I just couldn't get into it. So, but with this, and I'm gonna try to go back and finish it. It's not. I don't know. It's just it's not a Naughty Dog thing, because when I played Uncharted 4, I felt like I had to get the game done. So every day that I came downstairs to play, that's what I turned on for whatever time it took me to get through. The Last of Us I just couldn't get it. And so BMG says, don't play Kingdom Come Deliverance then. So I played a lot of that too. I mean, I remember when it came out, and now that Rick doesn't work for Warhorse, I can say this openly.
how could you?
No. Kingdom Come Deliverance was a fantastic game. I mean, it was worth everybody. I thought it got snubbed out of any of the Game of the Year awards, and I still to this day feel like it got
Especially the
cheated.
music.
Especially the music is absolutely gorgeous. But that game has a shelf life for me. Like, after a while, I just couldn't. It just was like, all right, this is too much, and I put it down and didn't pick it back up. I don't know. Peter, you're gonna have to start Last of Us and let me know what you think.
Yes, I definitely want to play that.
So, I might get back to it. Maybe it's some of the gameplay parts, like sneaking through with the clickers and all that stuff that I just, like some of it maybe got a little unfair. Trying to make my way through places where, I'm like, okay, it's a little not that the game's realistic. We're talking about zombies, but getting the way I could finish the game or get through the game. I don't know. I'm just.
So the relationship between these two main characters, then give you the feels, and it feels
Yes,
for them?
that did, like that beginning part where, I don't know who else. I can't spoil it for Peter, so
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
it's okay.
I'm immune to spoilers. I don't know.
Really?
They go one ear in, the other ear back out.
So just spoiler alert: the Titanic sinks. So
Right.
no, I mean
And DiCaprio dies.
yes. Well, he doesn't really die because you see him in the next damn movie. But
Okay.
I know. So anyway, I expect The Last of Us 2 to be, a ginormous game. I expect it if that's not your game of the year simply based upon, Naughty Dog's pedigree, it's going to be nominated for Game of the Year. There's no doubt about it. And it's going up against Cyberpunk and maybe Halo Infinite. So I mean, we're talking about that's a heavy hitter for the PS4. And then June is a little light, so you get a little bit of a break. But another game coming out in quarter 2 2020 that I think got caught under the radar because you haven't heard a whole lot about it recently, but it's going to be a big game. It's Dying Light 2.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys, Peter, how much of Dying Light did you play?
I don't know how far I got into it. This is the one that you can play co-op, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's broken, so my co-op doesn't work, so nobody can join my game.
Really?
And we tried it, and I think it happened like I jumped in Coop's game before I played the first bit of it and kind of got locked in a house, and I couldn't get out, and then finally was able to get out. Kind of hairy. I think I messed up my game, but I think it's might be even a more widespread issue with that game in co-op.
Huh.
Something going on. So,
All right. I
not very pleased about that.
No, I wouldn't be either. Because I played through that with a bunch of people, and actually I ended up. I mean, I've beaten it. And it was awesome, that game.
Yeah.
So
What I played was good.
I expect Dying Light 2 to be quite awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. I will.
I had that happen to me in Tomb Raider, Peter. I got stuck in a room on that ship. I can't remember which Tomb Raider it was. It was back on the Xbox One a couple years back, but I had Laura Croft, but you're out there and you're on the boat and there's this swinging like hook that goes around. Somehow I glitched into the ship and couldn't get out.
Oh, dang.
So I went online and they had a solution for it, and I had to twirl my controller and push these buttons, and finally I broke free, but I was really sweating it because I had like 20 some hours already in the game.
Oh, that
and there's
sucks.
nothing worse than when something happens and your game's messed up like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, my biggest one the game that I really enjoyed playing, but it also had like a bug where I couldn't really play was Quantum Break. I had the strobing effect, and I couldn't see the enemies, and I was flashing, and it's like bright flashing lights. It's like, man, that after a while it gives you headaches and stuff. So I had to just turn it off, and I haven't picked it back up again, which is a shame because I really enjoyed that game.
I had the save game corruption bug. So I didn't play that for like another year, and then I went back and finished it, but I had to start from the beginning. So, BMG, that's a great idea. When is Ubisoft going to get a clue and make an Assassin's Creed game in ancient Japan? Whew. Love to see that.
Me too, but I've heard that it's going to be set in the Viking period, and might have some Ragnarok.
Oh, that would be neat.
Involved in it.
And I hope you made enough chicken taco salad for everyone.
Is that what Chris is eating?
No, that's what Black Metal Gamer's making.
Oh, I'm trying
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hey.
We already announced all the games for the year, right? Up to May, right?
Up to May. We're at May.
So I know there's still some other games that are not. They don't have no. But there was one that was shown at E3 that I'm really interested in is Disintegration, which we talked about on WTFC, which is it's kind of like a Destiny type game. It's a co-op, real time combat. You got some hovercraft, I guess. Y'all don't remember that one being announced? It says maybe 2020, but who knows? I'll be surprised if it does. It's a new one. It's got the V1 Interactive developer. You got people there from Bungie.
Really?
Chris, I don't know how you guys feel about Chris, Peter, Mike, but like with Assassin's Creed, I've always liked those games. But my wife and I, we were talking the other day, just last weekend, about some of the older Assassin's Creed. I think out of all the games that have come out, I think Assassin's Creed 2 is my favorite. And although they've kind of opened the last two Assassin's Creed up a little bit, it seems to me like it lost the old Assassin's Creed feel that I had when I played with like Ezio, and there seemed to be more of a story. It's like Ubisoft, and I love Ubisoft games, but it's like they've taken the game and they put it on this huge map and they just plaster it with hundreds of icons. But for some reason, the game storyline, especially the one in like ancient Egypt, really didn't do much for me. It was missing something. It seemed like the storyline in the older Assassin's Creeds were better. And I didn't know what you guys thought about that, or if you prefer the more open world like it is now even.
No, I liked 2. I didn't. I gave up on 3. Never played Black Flag,
Oh, Black Flag.
I enjoyed Black
Awesome. I
Flag.
loved that one.
Everybody-
Black Flag
I
was
didn't play
good.
the first two.
Ah,
Everybody keeps saying
that was my favorite, I think. As well as 2.
Everybody
'cause it
keeps
wasn't
saying
you.
that. I didn't play
That had
Unity.
Edward, didn't it? Was that his name?
No, that's 3.
That's
Isn't it?
3.
right.
Yeah, I did not like 3.
3 was the Revolutionary
finished that one.
War, and
Yeah, that kind of like I hated that guy, and
yeah, and then you switched
It's-
over to his Native American son, and I couldn't get into it. But the other, I didn't play Unity. I played
Unity was great.
I played Origins, but I hadn't played Odyssey. My son played Odyssey.
Origins was good. Odyssey is like I never finished it. It's like kind of long. It seems like it's
Yeah, I
like an Origins, a 1.5. It's a little
Right.
bit more refined, but it's kind of like almost the same, slightly different, and the story is not as good.
Yeah, Indie Gamer's right. It was Edward Kenway
Was
in
it?
Black
So-
Flag.
So
Yeah.
who was in? So
Oh,
who was
what-
in 3?
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm looking it up.
Ezio was still in 3, wasn't he?
No,
Yeah, he was in 2.
No, well,
maybe it was, but who was in
ah,
3?
okay. Hatham Kenway, Hatham
Oh.
Kenway. So maybe that's like his father or something.
Oh, maybe.
I can't remember now. God, I'm getting so
All right.
He had Syndicate.
And you had Connor.
Yeah.
Connor was your son.
Now, Unity was the one that had the co-op, right? That made the big deal about the co-op, because the one had horrible co-op play. That I muddled through it and I got through and got the achievements, but the co-op was horrible. When I played with that, it didn't work well. It was really
to me, those
glitchy.
games are not really made for co-op. They should-
No.
don't. Yeah, Just
They made
don't.
that mistake with Unity, and it had. Remember, there was a lot of issues.
Yeah, there were a
Unity
lot.
too.
Yeah.
So,
They got a lot of flack for that. But Syndicate supposedly was pretty decent because you also played as the brother and the sister, right?
That's
yeah,
right.
Evie,
Brother and
Evie
sister.
and I forgot the guy's name. Yeah, that was good too. I really enjoyed
But like
it.
you were talking about, John, like this last gen, Ubisoft was all about the open world, big map.
Right.
And you had all the, where you can go here, side missions, all their games, from Division. You had Ghost Recon, the Far Cry's, Assassin's Creeds. They were all built on similar, open world,
So-
I
games.
just noticed that, Chris, because I don't mind the open world, but it seems like they need a little more balance. Like it's too much. Like there's just all these icons spread out over it. And they're like little fetch quests, and they're not like
Yeah.
They're not real meaningful. Like it seemed like the older Assassin's Creed, you still had the map, you still had the icons, but you would start off in a story, and there may be like 3 or 4 sections or part of the story, and it like really engrossed you. It wasn't just like go here and give this package to so and so.
Right.
Go here and stab this elephant and write it. It just. So I didn't know how you felt, Chris. Like if you like the older ones better, or you like this
I
new
didn't really
style.
play the older ones. I like open world games where I have the freedom to
Right.
do whatever I want. So if I'm playing these games and you level up, even when you go do these side missions, you also level up.
Right.
So when you go back, I like doing that because so when I go in to play the main missions, I'm already leveled up pretty good and get through the main mission pretty quick. So that's just me, but I understand, how, like Breakpoint, the main mission really wasn't all that great. And so you get sidetracked and side missions and you just didn't really care for the main mission.
Right.
And I know you finished it, right, Peter? That the story wasn't really all that great. I know Coop did. He said
Which one?
It was, Breakpoint.
Breakpoint? Yeah. I finished it. Did I? Yes, I did. Or am I close? No, I don't remember.
And then
that's,
maybe
that's how much the story really
yeah.
grabbed me.
But
I mean,
Far
it's like
Cry,
yeah,
I really enjoyed the stories in Far Cry. I thought they
Mhm.
were decent.
yeah.
So.
That's more
hmm
story.
Yeah, I like Far
More
Cry. I
fun.
think Far Cry 2 or 3. What was it? 2 or 3? I liked those, but after that, I started.
yeah,
I'm kind of losing interest in the series.
Well, I get open worlded out. That's my issue. It's like the thing that I like so much about the original Assassin's Creed games is that yes, you had a large map, but it was a single city, and you went around. And I loved climbing the towers to get the map, but in Odyssey, or not Odyssey, in Origins, I mean, you're going around the world, opening up all these towers and maps and stuff, and man, it's just a lot of work.
Yeah. And they have Odyssey released like a year later, and it's like even bigger and bigger, the same, slightly different. But
yes.
Now, you guys played the one in France, didn't you? Which one was that?
Yeah. Isn't that Syndicate?
Syndicate?
No, before that.
Unity.
Unity was France. Yeah.
Well, the one that was in France, I remember going around collecting all the treasure chests, and you go up inside all these French houses, and they had like treasure chests that were just like right on top of each other, but it was so frustrating because you couldn't get to them. You'd have to go in like a door and go up 2 flights of stairs, grab the chest, come back down, then go next door. And I think maybe if Ubisoft could find a happy medium where they, still made it open world, but kind of just backed off just a tad and add a little more story, I think they'd have a perfect recipe, actually.
Yeah, we'll see what they do going forward. I know the big one they're making is Beyond Good and Evil.
Right.
And that's a huge one. They showed that a couple years ago, but I don't expect that until at least 21, 22. I don't know. No. It's huge.
And actually, Chris, I found your Disintegration game made by V1 Interactive and Private Division. V1 Interactive, founded by the co-creators of Halo and SOCOM. Comprised of AAA tempered veterans and emerging talent. And yes, Disintegration is... I think I do remember a little bit about that game.
It's been quiet since then. They really haven't talked. Nobody, we haven't heard anything more from it.
No.
So we don't really have a release date. But I liked what I saw. So.
Yeah, nor do we really have a... I mean, they really don't even have the platforms. So they did have an announcement trailer. I do remember the announcement trailer, but that's about it.
Oh, Project Jeff, he had a good quote there, Mike. Do you know the definition of insanity? That was Vaz, the bad guy in Far Cry 3. Yeah.
Right.
He may be one of the best villains they've had in the franchise. That guy, you couldn't wait to kill that guy. I mean, you just wanted to pinch his head off. I mean, he was just evil.
Well, what about Far Cry 5, the father? Yeah, like crazy.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. Fantastic games.
Let's see. So moving on. By the way, June will. June was quite so. Dying Light 2, and then in the month of June or quarter 2 is what they're really calling a lot of this. Phantasy Star Online 2. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'll see you in 2021 once that game comes out. Because I'm just telling you.
Do you think we have is that a subscription game? You have to pay?
No.
To play online separately?
It is. I do not believe so. I believe that is a free-to-play game, is what I remember. Which means they'll have, obviously a ton of microtransactions and stuff. But
right.
Yeah.
I remember too, when this trailer started, I'm gonna back this trailer up. We were watching E3 2019, and I saw this. I saw Sega, and I'm like, all right, Sega, this could be something cool. So for the very first time, all right, maybe something else. I saw this image right here, and I said, no. I said it can't be. And like I started to get like palpitations in my chest. I'm like, no way. It can't be, because I was like, Fable Legends died. And I'm like, I'm like, holy shit, it's Phantasy Star. And so the only thing that I I can't describe my life in this game. I mean, on the Dreamcast and on the original Xbox,
Oh yeah.
I cannot tell you the amount of time that I spent in Phantasy Star Online. Now, it's a timed exclusive, so not to worry, PS4 gamers. That's coming out on PS4 as well. Release.com shows it for the Switch, but I'm doubting that. So right now, it's going to be um, Xbox One and PC, and probably within 6 to 7 months, come out on PS4 as well. But I mean, I could be one of the few people that are truly hyped for this, only because I remember what this game was like. This was
It's awesome.
this was a social game too. I mean, yes, there weren't. What was weird was there were no headsets back then, really. So you talked, if you had the keyboard, you could chat through the keyboard, which I have. So we did that, but I met people on SegaNet, and then on the Xbox, of course, you had a headset, so you had to be an ability to talk to people. But on the Dreamcast, no.
Hey, what's up, Sam? We got Sam in chat. Appreciate it, brother.
Sam, Happy New Year,
Happy New
Sam.
Year's. Yeah, like you were all into this. I was all into Final Fantasy 11.
Well, that's because you were a Nintendo guy.
Not really. I honestly, I really didn't play Final Fantasy back on the Nintendo.
Huh.
I didn't. That I didn't really get into until 11, and then I on the DS, I picked up Final Fantasy 3 and played it on there, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, man, Final Fantasy 11 was my jam. And again, like you didn't talk to anybody on headset. You had the keyboard, talk to people, and it had cross, translation. So you could play with anybody around the world, and it automatically translated whatever you typed.
Right.
Awesome. So,
Yep.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it really was.
It was cross-play with PS2, 360, and PC.
God, I remember those old Final Fantasy ones, like 1 and 2. When you look at those and how that game's evolved over the years, a lot different. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Such good stuff. I mean,
But you kind of used your imagination, though. I mean, you didn't have all the pretty graphics and, but it was just kind of basic. But man, it really made you kind of think, and I still enjoyed them. Back then, those graphics were like the graphics are today. It kind of goes with each year. I accepted them back then. They looked great to me back then. So that was the thing at the time.
Yeah.
All right, so continuing to move on. Let's see. There we go. We get to Q3, so now we're getting beyond September, and we're getting to some meat again. So we have Death Stranding for the PC that's coming out. We have Tell Me Why, one of the trailers I was just showing, which is made by the makers of Life is Strange. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles for the Switch and PS4. And then we get to the fall, which is going to be the big guns. So we have Dark Envoy, which I think isn't that the game with Ron, what's his face? Ron Silverman or whatever the hell his name is. It was Hellboy.
Yeah.
We have that. We have whatever Call of Duty Black Ops is coming out. Releases.com has it listed as Black Ops 5, but whatever Call of Duty game that they're working on. Of course, you have Halo Infinite, and you have Godfall, which was just announced at the VGAs for PlayStation 5 and probably PS4 and all that. Axiom Verge 2. You have if there's anything else really big. apparently sometime in 2020. So these are games that have no release date but are coming out this year. We think the Cuphead, the Delicious Last Course, finally going to get that DLC. We're going to get Super Meat Boy Forever for those of you who played Super Meat Boy on the Xbox 360. Perlman, thank you, Dizzy. Ron Perlman. I don't know why I was blanking on that name.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Quarantine, which, like I said, got pushed back to fiscal year 2020 to 2021. There is Elder Scrolls 6 is listed, but we haven't seen jack about that. Gods and Monsters. So here's Disintegration, and it's just listed as 2020. So
yeah. What about Biomutant? I know that's
Biomutant. I did not see that yet.
That was. I can't remember where it was shown, but that's one that's been talked around for a while. And then nothing. I think it was shown at one of the Gamescom. But then a year or two ago, and then nobody knows when it's coming out.
No, I have no idea. And I'm thinking, like, say, Microsoft Flight Simulator, I think, comes out this year. Xenoblade Chronicles for Switch comes out.
You already mentioned Ghost of Tsushima? I must have walked away.
No, we didn't. We did not talk about Ghost of Tsushima because it didn't list on the release dates because it doesn't technically have one yet, except for summer. So
yeah, just
it's summer. So that's got to be between June and August.
When do you guys think that's coming?
Boy, that's a good question.
I think June. I mean, June looked really light on this list.
Yeah.
So I could see June. I could see June being.
Yeah, they'll show it off at E3, and it's maybe they'll give us a release date.
I know one thing. I'm going to have to stop time to play all these games between work and everything else. My God.
I know. No. Oh, and I know. So for those of you with VR who are old Sega guys like me, I know that this isn't a big game, but it's big for me. Space Channel 5 VR.
Oh, I love Space Channel.
Yes, kind of funky.
Brings back memories.
Yes, the kind of funky newsflash. That's going to be really cool. So, I'm kind of looking forward to that. They don't have a full release date yet, but they do have it. Just says 2020. So,
Streets of Rage 4.
Streets of Rage 4. Yes, which is going to be in Game Pass. Son of a gun. I cannot believe that is coming to Game Pass.
But there's no release date, right?
No release date yet. Also, no release date for Yakuza 0, which is coming to Game Pass.
That's a good game, by the way. I played that.
I tell you what, Frankie
if you
loves
guys
that
haven't
series.
played it, you'll enjoy it.
I have not.
That one's a good one.
Kart Rider Drift, which was announced at E3. Coming to the Xbox. Crossfire X.
WrestleMania. The one that you remember you talked to the guys.
The retro, yeah, those guys were what the hell is that thing called? Retro something or other. It's wait a minute. Retromania Wrestling. It's up on my wall.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be so they said this year, but who knows? I don't know yet. So
it'd be cool if we can get you were talking about trying to get somebody from there to come on, right?
Yes, and I'm gonna follow up and work on that.
It'd be cool if we can get some review copies and we can play that.
Yep.
NLG.
Everspace 2 is coming out this year. So Crazy Juan, if you're listening. What else have we got? Panzer Dragoon remake for the Switch.
Oh, what about Streets of Rage? That hasn't came out yet, has it? That got delayed or pushed back, didn't it?
I don't know. That was what Chris was just talking about.
Yeah.
Let me look at. which is here's the official website. It's being made by Temu. It does not look like there is yet a release date. There's just a couple of trailers on their website. Their website's very vague. So no official word yet on a release date. So, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Now, this is funny because it's not true, but releases.com lists Grand Theft Auto 6 as 2020. So that shit's not happening.
Nobody knows until only Rockstar will let you know.
Yes. They'll get up on E3 stage and say, hey, it's out now.
I mean, not even that. They don't even really show up at E3.
Yeah,
I think they do their own.
Said Grounded. Yep, that's coming out.
Yeah.
Now there was some scuttlebutt about a new Warner Brothers, a new Batman game possibly. I was looking at things today, but I'm not sure. That's not set in stone or nothing. But I heard that Warner Brothers might be making another Batman game.
Would be nice.
I'd like to talk of it.
I'd like to see someone take a shot at a good Superman game. So, and then of course we had that announcement from CES. Lord of the Rings Gollum is coming out in 2021 for next gen consoles. Let's see, the Final Fantasy VII remakes 2021. Homeworld 3, Dragon Age 4. To be announced, Half-Life 3.
That's a permanent.
Yeah, that's permanent to be announced. So I mean, those are all of the games that are coming out in the next year. I mean, and these guys in chat, they're rattling off some games that we didn't talk about. That some smaller games and things like that. But I mean, think about just the amount of games. I mean, that we've been on for. How long we've been on now? However the hell long we've been on. I mean, we've covered a lot of game ground here.
Well, it stinks, Mike, because I'm not the type of gamer to I don't rush my games just because even when the new consoles come out, I won't rush a game just to get through it real quick. So I kind of play my games real slow. So all those games you listed, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to need multiplicity. I'm going to need 2 or 3 clones of me, playing these games.
Yeah, but you got to watch out. Don't clone a clone.
That's true.
And then you'd be arguing
I like
with
pizza,
your clones
Steve.
on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah. I like pizza.
Right.
I love that movie. Oh my god, that movie is so when he oh my goodness. I got a wallet. Steve.
So what's your guys' number one? What games? What are your two top two? Each one of you guys. What, Mike? What games are you looking forward to most? If you could narrow it down to 2.
Man, and I was just about to ask you guys that. So it is like you have never left. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Phantasy Star Online 2.
You can make it 3. 3 is a better number.
3, sir.
Right.
And the number shall be 3. 4 is right out. Phantasy Star Online 2 is definitely top of the list. I mean, obviously, this game here goes to Tsushima. Obviously, Halo Infinite. I mean, wow. Those right off the bat. Doom Eternal. I mean, those are my big games. And I'm sure along the way I'm gonna work. I'll work through. Yakuza. I'll work through some of those other ones, but I'd have to say those would be my big ones: Doom Eternal, Halo Infinite, Ghost of Tsushima. and Phantasy Star Online 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, for me, probably Halo Infinite, Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah.
Watch Dogs, and Cyberpunk.
Nice.
Oh, it's Cyberpunk. Jesus, so why did you ask me for just 2?
Well, I said 3, and then I think he mentioned 4.
Oh no, Mike went,
He
went
slid
on,
one in there.
on. He's already at 7, I think. So I thought I can do 4.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I played the hell out of Ori. Like Ori. Oh
I will
God.
play it. But it's not like huge on my list. Let me say this: if it wasn't in Game Pass, I would not play it probably, or at least not anytime soon.
Hey, I bought Ori when it first came out.
I did too.
Sam also says The Last of Us Part 2, but I haven't played Part 1 yet, so I have no idea.
He said Cyberpunk 2077 and Halo Infinite. And he said earlier in the chat, by the way, he said, can we just say the turnaround for Xbox is crazy? Xbox Game Studios is publishing more games in 2020 than in 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 combined.
It's about time.
And they're not, and that's just before the Series X releases. Because, like I said, at the VGAs, I'm sorry, the VGAs, he came out and said all 15 studios are developing games for the Series X. So, yeah. All right, go ahead, Chris. You're up.
I'll say my top one was definitely Cyberpunk. That's coming out in April. Halo Infinite, of course. And I'm definitely excited to see what Forza Motorsport 8, if that's what they call it. It's supposed to be all new engine.
Is it going to be this year though? You think?
Well, I mean, it's due. It's due. I mean, it's been to what they stopped releasing it every other year. So
I'm sure Dan Greenwald, he'll probably be, he usually says something about it, usually.
I think they'll announce it at E3 and it'll come out here in the fall.
I mean,
hopefully with a lot of new tracks though, not the same ones over and over. It's kind of gets.
We'll see. I they do try to listen to the gamers and try to adjust, and they know, Forza 7 really wasn't all that great. It's a good looking game, but it had its issues with online.
Yep.
And like Peter said, we want more tracks, so we'll see. Me personally, I would love if it had a story mode to it. I know it's all about the cars, but if you're a Formula One fan and NASCAR and Indy, like you follow the drivers of those cars too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
So I would like to have some kind of story, but I don't know. We'll see. And then until I get another PlayStation, I'm not gonna. I am very interested in Ghost of Tsushima. So we'll see if I get another PlayStation soon. And then the one to grow on is Wasteland 3.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful looking game. I love strategy like that.
And In Exile said that Microsoft infused a ton of money into their studio to make that game better.
Yeah.
So, the
Crossfire X.
Yeah, that's this year.
That's an online shooter.
Yeah.
From Asia, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
From Tencent.
From South Korea or whatever. Yeah.
So that's Forza Motorsport 7 came out in October of 2017. So it will be 3 years since the last Forza if it came out this year. And I don't remember them ever really announcing a Forza before that year it was going to come out. So it's not like us not hearing about it doesn't mean if they show it off let's say at E3 that it won't be ready for the fall. I'm sure they've been working on it.
True. I think it will be a launch with the Series X. They like to show that they like to show Gran Turismo's because the 6 launched with the Xbox One, right?
Yes.
So
Right.
I think it will be. That's why they pushed it back. That's why they said, you know what, we're not going to release it every other year. It didn't come after the year after Forza Horizon 4 because they're redoing it. They redid the engine. So.
Well,
It'll be cool
Well,
if they surprise
yeah.
us with PGR
stop
nah,
teasing.
Doubt it.
as a release title.
Oh, stop teasing.
Series X.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sam was saying that the Crossfire X, that Remedy is making the campaign for that game.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I'd like to see how that campaign looks.
That's right. That's right. Man. All right, John, what are your top games?
Oh, this is really hard. I'm going to have to list 4.
That's what.
We all listed 8 or 9,
Yeah.
so go right ahead.
I'm really looking forward Last of Us 2 because the story between Joel and Ellie, like on the last podcast I talked to you about, that game just really
Which
that
one?
relationship between him and her.
Oh, yeah.
And that game, I'm just really looking to get back in that universe and see what's happened over the time that's passed, see how Joel's aged and what's going on with Ellie and how they've changed. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Neo 2 is definitely, I'm real big into the Bloodborne Souls type games, and Neo, the first one, was extremely tough, and I find that challenging type of game. So I'll have to do that. The Ghost of Tsushima, of course, I'm real excited about that. And then, of course, Halo Infinite. Those are probably, if I had to pick out 4 games that are like really big, I think those 4 would be the ones I'm looking at.
You know what was not on releases.com, but at the VGAs, Phil said was going to launch with the Series X was Hellblade 2.
Right.
So I forgot about that. He did.
If he did, then that's on my list.
It was going to be available fall 2020 is what I'm hold on. Let me double
Sam
check
can
that.
Confirm it or Sam it. He said he don't think it's a launch game.
I am
21-22.
Hold on.
Man, I really enjoyed that first one when that came out, and I got on the PS4 and I played that.
Yes.
Man, that really got to that game was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was. You played it with the headset on, right?
Yes, and the whole that they told you if you play with the headset on, it adds to the experience the way that they made the game.
When you're in the combat, it tells you, it
and with the
tells you
mental illness thing,
right
Chris, with her
Yeah.
thing, it's like you could hear the echo of the voices and stuff.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that was so
that
good.
was pretty awesome.
That was so good that the audio in that game was Dolby Atmos be damned. That game didn't have it or need it. So, all right, hang on. I'm going to the end of the trailer because I thought that he said, and I'm going to go back to the to watch the that presentation, but I thought for sure that he said that it was going to launch with the Series X. Now, I'll go ahead and play the trailer while we're looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm gonna go back and look.
That trailer's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
I'm kind of
Battletoads
curious
is-
because I haven't talked to Chris I've talked to Chris a little bit. This is like the second time, but what are you guys? I mean, are you guys like me? Or are you going to be a day one console purchase? Because I know that I'm going to try to get all these consoles day one. I didn't know if you guys were waiting, or if you're a day one early adapter like me, or if you're going to wait a couple months or longer. What were your guys' plans like when these consoles come out?
Go ahead,
Probably
Chris.
get the X day one.
Yeah, I'm gonna do X Day
PS5.
One.
I think we'll
especially
have
if
to. I think we'll have to wait, and
Right,
probably by the time I pick it up, hopefully I'll get some free games with it.
right.
Yeah, definitely. I'm normally not a day one. I didn't get Xbox One day one. I waited for the Titanfall bundle.
Right.
But with Halo Infinite launching, and normally the past Halo games have always had a custom console that launched with it.
Right.
So I'm hoping a Halo Infinite custom Series X is, and I will get that. But the PS5, I'll wait till 2021.
Right.
So, yeah. Now, if they're both $399, which I doubt it,
That will make it a little easier.
Then it'd be like, okay, maybe both day one. But
Well, it's going to be interesting because, like, we hear all these things about the prices. The thing that I heard that they were, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's possibly like going to be, are there going to still be like 2 SKUs or 2 models of the new Xbox? One that might be lower priced and one that's more expensive, like their main console. Is that what they're still doing, or is that just
they
talk?
haven't officially said it. People out there have said that Xbox has another, they call it the Lockhart, and that could be the, like the Xbox One S was to the X. So the Lockhart could be that to the Series X.
So what would you do,
we'll
Chris,
see.
if they come out, let's say they have a console that's like $350 and that's like a lower end model, and then they have one that's $400 or $500, whatever what would you guys, because I don't know what PlayStation's going to do. I don't know. I mean, there's been rumors because, you just hear rumors and hearsay and things you read on the internet. But as far as I know, that there's only going to be one base model at launch, so I was kind of hoping they could come in around $399 on that console. But what do you think most people are going to do, though, with this next gen? Are you going to buy the less powerful Xbox, or are you going to fork out the cash for the most powerful one?
I think
it's a tough question.
No, for me, it'd be the Series X.
Right.
Let's say if PlayStation does have 2 SKUs and they have a cheaper version, then I'll jump on the cheaper version day one, because when I had a PlayStation, I had the Slim. I thought that was just as great. The games still looked and played great compared to the Pro. I didn't think the Pro was a big jump.
Right.
So, maybe I'll just do that with the PlayStation. I don't know. But yeah, no, for me, as far, for like us, we're hardcore gamers.
Right.
I would think that we would go after the most powerful one, but
that's what I would do.
A lot of casuals out there who,
right,
they're not, they have a budget, they would look at those cheaper SKUs. I mean, as long as the games look good, they're bundled right,
Exactly. Well, and look at the success Nintendo's had, with that Switch, and we all know how, as far as like power, it's underpowered compared to the other consoles, but they've done phenomenal with their games, and the sales of that system are just, you almost scratch your head and think, my God, how much would they sell, or how much would they, if they came out with a traditional console that packed a punch like the Xbox or PlayStation? I'm still kind of hoping that they do that someday.
I don't think they care, because, remember last gen, the Wii came in, well, not last gen, but, kind of, the Wii came in and it just exploded. And you had everybody and their grandma playing on the Wii,
Yeah.
It was different with the motion controllers and all that. And the Switch has done the same thing,
And they've done well with the Switch.
Yeah, they have.
So they've always been different. They've always gone to the beat of their own drummer, and I don't think they're ever going to
match Xbox One and PS4 and power wise and all that.
Yeah, I mean they still don't have real online. So I mean.
Yeah.
The Switch actually was the only, I love my Switch, guys, but I think I may have talked to this about Mike a long time ago, but my first model that I got, I had it for like 4 or 5 months. Well, one day it just wouldn't read any cartridges. Ugh. It wouldn't play any of the games that I downloaded or anything. And this was before Nintendo had started their online, so you could save your stuff to the cloud and stuff. So when my Switch went bad, I mean, I couldn't transfer anything. I couldn't do anything. So my wife, she lost all her Breath of the Wild save files. I lost my Mario Odyssey. I mean, lost everything. And so I went out, and of course I had it under warranty. So I took it back to Best Buy and I picked up another one. And now that they've got the online cloud saves, I feel a little bit better about it. But man, what a bummer, man. We lost hundreds and hundreds of hours of game save files because they didn't have the online infrastructure, up at the time.
Yeah. And they still don't. But what's cool about the online that they got the NES and Super NES games on there that you can go back and play real quick and easy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that's great.
When I play my Switch, those are the games that I play.
Mhm.
I had fun with Punch Out. Yeah, not too long.
Oh
ago.
yeah, Punch Out's a classic.
Punch Out.
Oh, that's definitely a class. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And I got these for the Switch, so you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
so
nice, Peter. Yeah.
Oh,
I might get one. I might get those. I see them on sale right now.
Yeah. You have to hurry up. I don't know if today's the last day or not.
Was it weird going back to that, not having the analogs, Peter?
Well,
I mean,
you know, if you play the NES or SNES games, then this is the better thing.
It feels more comfortable. Like when I play Contra, I feel like it's better with the D-pad than it is with the joystick.
Oh yeah, it's like you're more
even
accurate.
with the separate 4 buttons. You know, it's better to have that toggle.
I still don't have a Switch.
Don't bother. Sorry.
Yeah, and I guess your kids are not asking for it, are they? I mean, if
They're
not
really
asking
not.
for it-
They're really not.
Yeah.
You know,
I still think it's a little. The Switch is a little overrated. I mean, sure, Nintendo has some great IP, but
They definitely could do more with it. There's part of me. I bought it. To be honest with you, I kind of bought it out of nostalgia, because I mean, when I was a kid, I grew up with the Atari and television, Nintendo, you know, and played those games. And there's something about Mario and those characters that you just want to go out and buy their games.
Mhm.
But they're leaving a lot on the table, and I understand that they kind of march to the beat of a different drummer. You know, they do their own thing, but I think at some point they're starting to fall further and further back. I mean, they've got games like Star Fox and Wave Race. They haven't done anything with those, and
they have not.
You would think that they would resurrect those titles. So I think with Sony and Xbox coming out real strong this year with new systems, I think Nintendo, like, I've heard rumors of another Switch coming out, but I think they're going to have to step up their game, because I don't know how long they can get by with the same thing with the Mario and the Zeldas. I mean, they need to bring back some of those other games that were popular too, you know.
I would just have them get rid of hardware. Just be a software company.
Wow, that would be great.
Yeah. Back
But
in
I
the
mean,
old.
I mean, you already
I
put stuff
enjoy
on mobile, on phones, and iOS and other stuff. It's just.
but not all their stuff, right? I mean, they have
No,
certain games.
not all this stuff. But I mean, it's like, why not?
Right.
But I mean, I do. I don't play the Switch a lot, but I do enjoy. I like it. I like how, you know, the docking station. My daughter, like, she plays Just Dance, and so it works out great for her. So she plays it while it's on the TV, but then, you know, at any point she can just grab it, pull it off, and then, you know, play on that while we're watching TV or whatever. I like the Switch, but I do agree it would be nice if they came out with a Switch Pro or something a little bit more powerful. I don't know. We'll see. You know, and they have been getting some decent third-party support.
Mm-hmm.
You know, games being ported over to it. So I mean,
Yeah, but right now, like, all those third-party games that are ported over, it's the inferior version.
Well,
you know?
and-
so then why bother? It's like,
The only
I don't
other
know,
negative
people
are
buy
those
those. I
Joy-Cons.
mean, yeah.
You know, I can't use the Joy-Cons, Peter. I don't know about you guys, Chris, but I've got the Switch Pro controller, and it's like one of the most comfortable controllers I've ever held in my hand. And I really like the Switch Pro controller, but the Joy-Cons, I can't play at all with those things. They're not very intuitive. They don't, to me, they kind of stick. They're not very accurate. And they're so tiny. I just, you know.
yeah, it's perfect for my daughter, my 6-year-old.
Right.
But yeah, for us, yeah.
You know, I haven't.
We have Duke hands.
Right. Duke hands.
Duke hands.
Old and chubby and worn out and blisters.
Calluses from into the
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm.
Our folks.
We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to get a good trade in on my X to get a Series X. I mean, I don't anticipate that I'm gonna have to buy a Series X for a while. And I'm happy with my consoles now. So
Oh, sorry. I got to ask you this, Michael?
Yes.
That you just hit. Before I forget. See, I didn't get. I got the Xbox One and I got the Xbox Slim. I never got the X. So for me, like the Series X, I guess is what I'm saying. Since I didn't buy the X,
Sure. So
I'm
yeah,
all excited. But if I had bought the X, I might be in your position though. I might not be wanting to
Yeah.
switch because it just came out not too long ago. It's real
Right.
hard when they come out so fast.
and that's
Well, the thing is, like, if the games are still, still
Right.
run on it, the new games, then
right. That's
know?
that's the problem.
and there's no hurry.
I don't. Well,
I mean, if you guys are like me, you kind of get attached when you buy these consoles. They're kind of like your friends. You buy them and they're kind of like your baby. That's your console, So it's kind of hard, even when the new ones come out. Sometimes it's hard to kind of let go just right away when they come out so often.
yeah. I mean,
It's like
I
Sam
just,
in the chat is saying, there really is no rush.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, really, they asked you to buy a console in 2013 for $500 or $600. I'm sorry, $500. Then they asked you to do it again 3 years later. Then they're going to ask you to do it again 2 years later. Yeah. My day one's easy.
Right.
It's the Intellivision Amico.
Yeah,
This
I
is-
hope you can play
this-
Cyberpunk on that.
I'll be playing Cyberpunk on my X, sir.
I'm just,
Now, are they
I'm
going to
gonna-
have
I'm
the
gonna
old
buy one.
controllers where you slip the little piece of cardboard in or whatever, like the
Well,
old
it's now
Intellivision?
So-
digital.
Yeah, it's
now
all digital. It's gonna be on this. Hold on, I will grab because it is crazy what they are doing with the controller. They are making the controller. The overlays will be on the LCD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell this console as like it's for my daughter, but it's really for me.
Right? Yeah, see, look, hold on, let me go back. The little where was
There it is. That's a little hard to see.
Yeah, stop talking, Tommy. Here we go.
Darn it, I want to see the controller.
All right, hold on. There's they have a thing directly about.
So it comes with two controllers, but then you can also use your mobile phone.
Yes. All right, hold it. Updated controller and features. These are very quickly. And the cool thing about this is all the games that they are like there's Night Stalker, there's Space Hawk,
Oh,
yeah, I mean Astro Smash. I mean these are games. Breakout. These are games that Snafu, Auto Racing. I mean I'm so ready for this.
your body's ready, Mike.
My body is ready.
Yeah,
I mean-
the price is right too. It's
Yes.
like around $200.
It's like $200.
Games are not more than $10,
Yeah, I
and
think
they're
they're
all
like
exclusive, so they're no.
Oh, I'm going
ports
to be
and
in
other-
trouble this year, guys.
They're
I'm going to
like-
have to get that and the Atari one.
they're
I've-
you know what? I've given up on the VCS box. I don't think that
Yeah.
thing is. I think that thing is I think that's a loser, and I don't say that lightly because I grew up with Atari. I grew up on the Atari Computer Series, but I have zero interest in that box.
Right.
I also kind of lost interest in the what was that thing, the Polymega, because I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
sure
Right.
it's coming out, and I'm not sure what to make of it. I like the idea, but so far I haven't seen anything, and now I've got HDMI cables for the consoles that I really wanted that to play on. So
Right.
I'm not, I don't know. So here's the updated controller design
Yeah.
for the. I mean, this thing is just so what's cool about the Intellivision, and I'm not saying so. Full disclosure, I am not saying this just to get Tommy on our show. I am these guys, Peter and Chris will tell you I have been all over this for a while now. This console, it's got they made improvements to the disc. They made improvements to the buttons too to make it more friendly than the two square buttons that were on the side.
Oh, that brings back memories. Just the style of it.
Yeah,
it's like new but old at the same time. Yeah.
Here we go. So the buttons are a little different, and you'll be able to hold it sideways. And then the LCD screen is what's going to have the overlays or whatever they want to put on there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, this thing is...
And it charges on top of your console.
Yes.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, look at that thing. He's got a little bouncing ball thing. Yeah, that thing looks... But you see the little bouncing, the little ball he's got in the middle of the screen, and it's. I'm. Oh, and it's touch. Yeah, so like you can see, right?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So Born Distracted said the controller looks like an iPod, but if you've never, it does. But if you've never played the original Intellivision, you don't know the struggle of that controller. That controller was cool and a hand killer at the same time.
Yeah.
In fact, hang on a second. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. I'll show you.
That ColecoVision controller was kind of tough too.
How expensive was that back in the day?
Oh, the ColecoVision?
Original. Yeah.
Oh God. I got that. I forget how old I was when I got that, but I had both that and the Intellivision. I had the Atari too, but I can't remember the prices.
They were more expensive than
it was like $3.99. Yeah, it was $3.99 the Atari.
Yeah. So I mean,
here's the Intellivision 2. Now this was the remake that they brought out because with the original Intellivision, which was bigger, and the controllers were attached, and you couldn't remove them. So these controllers you can actually remove out of the box. It's a little tough to get your hand in there, but you can actually take the controller out eventually. But what's cool about it too was with this particular design, you could put it had I don't know if you can see that really well, but it has the controller design of the Genesis. So you could actually plug a Genesis controller into this. So this is what the controller looks like on the original Intellivision, and you slid the
right
on here. You had these buttons on the side. Now on the Intellivision 2, the buttons were better. On the original Intellivision, they were closer together, a little bit farther up, and really hard to get to. Like you had to really they were really hard to press, and if you wanted to hold it nicely, you really couldn't because you had to get the left and right buttons, and then you'd use the D-pad and then had to press all this. So I'm looking forward to this new design of this controller.
Yeah, it's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, I'm so all in. I've already told my wife.
Are you gonna? I think they might come out with a special edition.
Yes, I saw that.
Are you going for it?
I might.
I'm not too
I might. So here's the phone app that Peter was telling you guys about. So you'll be able to actually use your smartphone as a controller. I mean, this whole thing reeks of cool. And on top of all of that, what completely sold me was they announced an Earthworm Jim game that is exclusive to this console.
Nice.
All the games are exclusive.
All of them are.
There are no ports. There are no... Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
well, I'll have to buy one now, so I just add that to the list.
Yeah. And the games... the games are all supposed to be, like $4 or $5 a piece. Like they're not.
Yeah, but a max of $10.
Yeah.
No DLC. I mean, no milking. No microtransactions and stuff.
Yeah, games ranging from $2.99 to $9.99.
Yeah.
And it comes with 5 games built in.
Oh yeah. Packed in games.
Yes, remember
you hear
those?
that, Microsoft? You hear that, Sony? Hacked in games. No milkers.
I mean, what they're doing for this to bring this thing out is one of the reasons that I want to talk to Tommy, because when everyone else had a 2600, I had the Intellivision. So
I did too.
No.
I mean, I went that route, and just the games, Tron Deadly Discs was like, Sea Battle, and I mean, I'm looking over at my collection. Of course, it came with Las Vegas Poker and Blackjack with the shifty-eyed dealer. I have one of the few copies of Pitfall for the Intellivision.
Nice.
Yep.
The good version.
Yes, the good. That was a great version.
Come on now.
I have football. I've got basketball, which was awesome. I've got B-17 Bomber and Space Armada for the IntelliVoice. I have auto racing. I have Astro Smash. I have Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, which was so cool. Armor Battle, which was which was their answer to Combat for the 2600. I don't know if you guys remember, there was an Empire Strikes Back Star Wars game for it where you had to kill all the AT-ATs, the AT-ATs. I mean, there's such great memories. I can't hook this thing up to my TV because I don't have the right connectors for it. So,
but it didn't have ET on it, did it?
No, it did not. No, it did not. It was not responsible for the crash of gaming. You know what would be? So I'll tell you what would be the icing on the cake for me for this is if they announced that they were bringing the entire original, as it looked, the entire original catalog to this, and instead of the overlays showed up on the touchscreen, but it was the exact games with the exact look. Or they could do what they do, like with what 343 did with the Halo series. You have, or what Tecmo did with Tecmo Bowl. Remember, you could play as the original Tecmo Bowl or the enhanced. Wouldn't that be freaking cool? I think. You know what? I think I'm gonna talk to Tommy. We're gonna have a conversation. So, yeah, I am more excited about this, as you can tell, than I'm excited about the new consoles coming out from Microsoft and Sony. So, anyway, so that is this is my day one, the Amico.
Who published the games for the old Amico games back then? Who, like here, like for Atari, it was Sears.
It was
Atari.
It was Mattel.
Mattel.
Yep, because it was developed by Mattel Electronics. So they published, with the exception of like Activision published Pitfall. So some of the third party games, like Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, and stuff were published by I think I can't remember if Electronic Arts was, I can't remember who published that, but like Burger Time was published by Data East.
I remember that game.
Yeah.
And Data East. Data East was pretty popular.
Data East was great.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that Burger Time arcade 1-up, all four of those games on it are Data East. Burger Time, Karate Champ, Caveman Ninja, and Bad Dudes. Those are all Data East.
Oh, God, Karate Champ. That's a classic.
I know.
It really is. Love that game so much.
So, like, I'm looking at so we had an Atari 2600, but the only reason why we had it is because my grandfather, he had it and he gave it to us. But, like here it said, when it came out in 77, it was $199. So if you account for inflation to nowadays, like you count, it would be about $700.
Well,
That's
that's
crazy.
that point I brought up, Chris, and I still stand by it. Like even when the first PlayStation, the Sega Saturn came out, $399, and that was 25 years ago or whatever. I mean, we were paying that. That's why I'm not real picky on the price now, 25 years later. But that's just me. I know some people say, "Oh, you can't go over $399. That's the sweet spot." But I don't know, man. I mean, that 25 years ago we were paying that. I still would argue that point that $399 is pretty low for a console, especially today.
It is. You know, when the PS3 came out, they tried to do that 600. You know, and it was
That was
I
too
mean, the
much.
PS3 had a
Yeah.
lot. It had a lot. You know, that had a lot in it.
Well, yeah,
But
the
it-
cell
it-
processor and all that.
They just no people.
Oh man, the
That's
Z
one of the
Black.
number one things that people consumers, they look at price and they're like, nope.
Just like the Turbo graphics.
Yep.
When there were, I mean, when all your consoles are coming out and they're around $300 or $400, and these consoles come out and they're like $800, you know, it's like
Yep.
most parents at that time are like, no, they're not going to do that. But
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
think
Like
in this day and age, $399, $499, that's actually for what these consoles are going to be doing. That's still pretty reasonable to me.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
'cause I grew up poor, so
Yeah.
I don't know how we got a Nintendo and an NES. You know, one day my brother left with my mom, and then they come back with, you know, I was like, what? How did my brother do that? My brother was a con man.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah. And normally we got those around Christmas or
Right.
yeah, you know, just something that either my mom or my dad saved that money for. You know, and
Yeah.
that was pretty much all we got. So,
Dude,
but I
Z
tell you what,
Black.
I was fine with it.
Z Black Rider, man, just took me into the dark zone of retro. He brought up the TI 99.
Oh, wow.
my God, TI 99. I had the TI 99 4A, and I was just putting a little list of games that were in. Like instead of Pac-Man, they had Munchman. They had a game called Tombstone, Car Wars, Parsec, which actually was one of the first games that had voice. I mean, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Good times.
Yeah, they had some great games. Oh man.
Yeah. See, like me and my brother, you know, we grew up in low income housing apartments.
TI
We had to go out there and
Invaders.
we had to go out there and fight people for games. We had to
Right.
go into fighting tournaments, and if we won, we got a game out of it. No, I'm joking. But no, we used to do a lot of wheeling, dealing, trading with friends. There was a flea market around the neighborhood, so my brother would go over there and trade games. That could have been the co-founder of GameSpot. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my brother would come back with these games. I'm like, what game is that? What did you trade the game? That looks like it. And then, you know, you put it in, you're like, hey, I actually like it. You know, there's a lot of games that you never even heard of, and they turn out to be little gems. So
Well, when I grew up, Chris and guys, I had like a middle income family, and my dad just worked. My mom stayed at home with me and my brother. But I remember I had a afternoon paper out and a morning paper out, and I delivered papers, and we had money, but we still didn't. We were like the last family in the neighborhood to get cable TV, and
Yeah.
my parents were just kind of old fashioned, so we were always behind the times. But they always, you know, I always had a job and I always worked, so. Even when I was younger, man, even my afternoon paper out, I would save my money and I'd go out and collect and save my money. That's how I bought a lot of my games and consoles back then. And I think that's why they were so special to me, because when you have to work for something and it's just not given to you, you kind of treasure those things a lot
yeah.
more. So
Agreed.
that's why I fell in love with video games, and you know, it's been that way ever since.
yeah, because I went to work when I was 16, and so
Right.
you know, when I went to work, it was definitely would be able to afford certain games and whatever, and it was meant much more.
Yeah.
I even used to be Chuck E. Cheese at Showbiz Pizza Place, where they had the Dragon's Lair video game arcade cabinet when it first came out.
yeah.
And I would dress up as Chucky and entertain the kids, and I put the hat on and everything.
really?
I worked
Wow.
there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I went
remember
back.
the first time going to Chucky when it first opened.
Yeah. So I went back and I looked at the Intellivision games list. So Mattel did all of their games. Activision did their games. So Pitfall, River Raid, because I forgot River Raid came out on the Intellivision. Stampede, which I didn't realize came out on the Intellivision. Beam Rider. And then Coleco, before the ColecoVision came out, they were the ones who actually brought out Donkey Kong and Donkey, because they were at the time publishing for Nintendo, because Nintendo they weren't making a console at that time. So Donkey Kong was actually published by Coleco. They got the list, the rights, and then they put out Ladybug and Mousetrap and Turbo and Zaxxon before they put out their own console. And then there was, I don't know if you guys remember, because these were out on the Atari as well, the company Imagic. You guys remember Atlantis and Demon Attack?
I remember Demon Attack.
Atlantis was sort of like their like an underwater version of Missile Command. And Demon Attack was their version of Galaxian and Galaga. And then they also put out Microsurgeon, which was the very first hospital simulator.
They had a game on the Atari 2600, Mike. It was called Hide and Seek.
Yeah.
And you had played, I played that with my brother. One person would have to turn around and kind of close their eyes, and you'd move your little pixelated guy like throughout the house or outside in these little rooms, and you'd have to move at the right angle, and your guy would kind of disappear behind the couch. But, the person playing with you would have to kind of turn around. But it was the worst game ever. But you played that for hours. That's worse than E.T. I'll put money on it.
And Parker, so it was Parker Brothers that put out Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, not EA. So it's Parker Brothers. And they also did Frogger, Popeye, Cubert, Super Cobra, Tatankum, and Congo Bongo, which was Sega's answer to Donkey Kong. Oh my goodness! This is my problem. I could go on about this for days. This stuff. Retro. One day we're just going to do a whole retro show.
Yeah.
Peter can and John can talk about the Commodore 64. I can talk about the Coleco and the Intellivision, and oh my goodness.
The Commodore is my puppy, Mike. That's my Intellivision.
I had a friend that had a Commodore, so he would come over to my house and we would play any of the games that were on the Atari computer system. And then because the Atari had Missile Command and those games.
Oh yeah.
And they were arcade. They were very arcade like, because at the time the computer was very powerful. So Missile Command on the Atari 800 and 1200 XL looked like Missile Command in the arcade. Asteroids on it. So I would go over to my friend's house and play his Commodore games, and Yi Ar Kung Fu and The Last Ninja and all that stuff. So I had a great time. I had nothing against it. And then when you go, what was funny was Commodore though was the big one at the time. So when you went to what at the time was Games and Gadgets, before it became EB, Atari would have like the little section, and the whole wall would be Commodore. You're like, why?
Seen that.
I actually have a confession to make. Commodore 64 is when I started pirating games. Because they had the 5 1/4 floppy, and I had a friend down the street that was 4 or 5 years older, and he had a copy program, and you'd put that, and it had a list of so many games. So we'd get games from people, or we'd buy games and come back. I'd use the copy program. I'd take them back, get my money back, buy another game. I had so many Commodore 64 games, I didn't know what to do with. But I just wanted to share that with everybody.
None of my Commodore 64 games were paid for.
I had a 1200 baud modem for my Atari, and I remember the day I downloaded Castle Wolfenstein, and I knew where the BBSs were, where the games were. So now, did you guys with your 5 1/4 inch floppies? Did you take the take the hole punch and punch
Oh,
the
yeah.
hole on the
Oh,
other
yeah.
side and make them double-sided.
Double-sided.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
double-sided. Oh yeah.
Every penny mattered.
Yep. So I had the copy protection breaker on the Atari was a mod you put in their disk drive called the Happy, and that's how I copied games.
You know, the old load quotation marks asterisk comma 8 comma 1 for the device number, the disk drive, loading up those games. But that brings back so many memories. But yeah, I had so many games that I copied. I was like, Peter, I didn't pay for it was so easy to like copy games back then. And
Yeah.
Right.
of course, there were a lot of games. I bought like the summer games 1 and 2, winter games. I
my
love
epics.
those games.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
man, those were my favorite. Those were my favorite.
Oh my
Those
goodness.
were awesome. The diving, and they had
Yes.
equestrian and the summer games and your
And then
long jump.
yep.
And
Yeah.
you spent
Oh,
hours
my
trying to
And all the
figure out how
anthems, and you would
goodness.
listen to them, and the opening ceremonies and closing
Yes.
ceremonies, and
Oh my
Oh.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
My epics.
What about the? I think here was called track and field, where you have to, molest
Oh,
your
yeah.
joystick.
that was Konami. So
Yeah.
I
That was
remember
also on
playing.
Nintendo.
I also remember playing those games at school. We used to sneak playing those games on the Apple II.
Right.
Oh my god! And then of course that Epix also made. God, we're at 12:36, guys. Maybe we need to table this for.
Yeah. My cat's enjoying the show. I think she's going in to eat. She's meowing real loud. Sorry.
Because I mean, I can start talking about games like Jumpman. I mean,
Hi.
I yeah. So there's a bunch of abandonware sites too where you could grab this stuff if you really wanted to get it again. I'm just saying. Because when I first got my PC, my Tandy 1000 EX, I remember getting Summer Games 2 and it being in 4-color CGA. So
Oh, Mike, Black Rider, he hit the nail on the head. I used to
Yup.
buy, just like Phil Spencer made the comment, I used to get those magazines and turn to the back, and I would type all those lines of code basic in there, and you're hoping, there was one game called, it was a vampire hunter type game. So I thought, ooh, cool. So I'm typing all this basic stuff in for hours, going down and everything. And then you hit run, and then you're like, oh God, is it going to run? And then come to find out it only run for a little bit and there would be errors. And you're like, oh crap.
and then as soon as
I wasn't a programmer. I was just copying what they told me to put in there. So I'm like, oh God, what do I do?
That's how I learned how to type.
yes,
Right.
that and Mavis Beacon.
Yeah.
Mavis Beacon teaches typing.
But then a lot of those magazines, you just typed in like codes, like hexadecimal codes. First of all, you had to type in a little program that would, did some checks and
Right.
checking the line, and then you type in the lines, and then, oh man,
Good
All right.
times though.
good
Yes.
times.
So I say we bring that back. There's probably not going to be a lot of. Here's what I think. So John's going to be back on. Let's see. Today's the 10th. The 24th.
24th, yeah.
Yeah.
It's my fault. I'm long-winded, guys.
No, that's okay.
I was so excited to get back on the show with
Oh,
Chris.
my God.
I'm good.
It's like awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I
got a second win, so.
I don't think we're going to get any significant gaming news between now and the 24th unless something breaks open. I would love to continue this in 2 weeks and let's just go back in time and we'll talk some retro. We could, I would love to sit here and talk about those old days and old games, and I could probably do it for another 3 hours. So why don't we do an old game retro show in a couple of weeks?
Yeah,
like
everybody in chat, show up and tell us their stories about, what was their first system and
Yes.
How far back. Like now, I tried to ask him. I don't know if he came back.
Oh,
But
he's a
some of
youngin'.
these young guys, youngins, they probably their first system was the 64 or the GameCube,
right.
or
I may have to go over to my mom's house and pick it up from. I left it with her years ago, but she has my Commodore 64 still.
Ooh, man.
And I have all my floppy disks. I don't know if it still works or anything, but it was in mint condition when I left it there. I may have to see if I can run over there and get it just for the show, so I can hold things up and show you guys or something.
All right, let's do this.
Your game room needs a Commodore 64.
It does.
All right, we will market that show as a retro show.
Mm-hmm.
And let's do it. Let's do it.
What's the title? Get off my yard, retro gamers.
Get off my lawn.
We are. They now said, what is this? A bunch of old men gaming show.
You're damn right. So you'll be able to.
Sorry.
Yeah. So you'll be able to skip it if you want, Niall. So all right. But it is 12:40. We have. Yeah.
Oh crap!
I know. We've gone 2 hours and 45 minutes. So some of us do have to work in the morning. But guys, once again, this has been a great show, and I had a lot of fun talking about the future and what's coming up this year. And I know we're gonna have a hell of a lot of fun talking about the past in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So
awesome.
So first and foremost, John, welcome back.
Thank you, guys.
It's great.
It's awesome having you.
Yeah,
part of the family,
It's awesome. I'm sorry that the show's been so long, but man, getting around you guys talking about stuff, man, I get all like revved up about it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You'll have to bring Shammer on one night with you, and
I will,
and let her come and talk. Because you know what? It's not often that you get a family that games like that, and
she talks more than me.
That's okay, and that's okay. We would love to. I want to get her gaming origin story. To be honest with you, so
Yar's Revenge Atari, the paddle. That's one of her favorite games. She goes back a long way with her gaming too. So yeah,
awesome.
Nice.
So
I can probably even ask my wife too, because my wife, she's a gamer. She doesn't game like I do nowadays, but she gamed back in the day. She had brothers, and they all gamed, so
let's do it.
Gaming history.
Let's do it.
That'd be fun.
So mine does not, but that's okay.
Yeah, mine doesn't either.
No. I asked her why the other day, because she used to it, and she said she just gets too mad at him. So, because I watched her one day play on the Xbox, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and she loved it, but she hated it. So
I knew as much as I game Mike that if I didn't find someone sooner or later that gamed, I'd never stay married.
Or at least someone that can accept it.
They had to understand how nerdy I was to do it.
Get my thing ready. Anyway, so welcome back, John. This is so good to have you, and I'm looking forward to you really, being part of NLG again. It's great.
It's fun.
You saw I got to get so I didn't have time to put your animated avatar in the video.
But you got my Krusty the Krab Xbox avatar hat on, yeah?
Yes. But I'll work on getting the animated one in there for you. So we'll have a intro video for you and an intro video from Thomas, and
nice.
who's ever on display. But it's great.
Yeah, like I said, whenever you guys want me to come on, my schedule, I work day shift, so come whenever you guys need somebody, I can come on. So
awesome. So the plan is to have you on every other Thursday for the regular, and then if you want to fill in, sometimes Chris's wife tells him he can't be on, so sometimes they're out.
She don't tell me anything. She just give me the look. It's rare. I know better.
No, I know. Yeah, no, but sometimes they go out and dinner and stuff like that. So then there's an opportunity to fill in. But I'm overjoyed to have you back, man. It's great.
Awesome.
So, and Peter and Chris, as always, man, this was
another good show. Yeah,
another good show. So, and to the chat room.
The chat room, year, right? This is the first.
The first
NLG
one of the year.
Yep.
Happy New Year to everybody. Chat room was fantastic as always.
They were.
So
Good turnout,
I'll say what I used to say. Thank you very much. You can now like and subscribe because we're back on YouTube, and please tell a friend, bring a friend in, tell them about the show. We love to have those people in chat. So
and good people, gamers, positive people. We're not about drama, so
exactly
none of that. So please,
no, there's plenty of other places for that. We just want to talk games and have a good time. So, but the chat room was fantastic today. And once again, hey guys, if you get a chance to send Carlo Italian Clowns some love and some thoughts and prayers for his wife.
Maybe sometime, Mike. Maybe when I come on again. Maybe I was going to do it, but since I just got back on the show, but I thought about every once in a while I might, like, if it's okay with you guys, I might give out some like Xbox or PlayStation cards with money on it, for listeners. Maybe we can have some kind of like contest, or we can have I don't know, some trivia questions, and maybe we can give away some surprises. I mean, I'd be more than happy to chip in and help people out, with gift cards or things like that. So I thought about that be kind of cool to do on the show too sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know, Chris does that. I have 3 kids, so I can't afford to do that, but I would love to. Right. But it would be wonderful. We've got it. We've got great people that get into the chat room that, and they help us out too. I mean,
oh yeah.
Santa Coop hit me up with another PS Plus subscription for this year, so we can get back to playing Star Trek Bridge Crew. I mean,
there's nothing like helping people out, Michael. I mean,
there really isn't.
I had a couple buddies that I bought consoles for games when they've been down on their luck, man, and it just, whenever you can help somebody out, I mean, that makes all the difference in the world. That's what it's about,
No, because you're a good man. That's what I love about having this, this set of crew right here. Is, I mean, everybody here is good people. Chris is amazing and does the same thing, and he's very generous and giving and very positive, and very supportive of the entire community. Peter and I are just, we game together, we talk, offline, sometimes about work, sometimes about other stuff. Like, he's truly, it's proof that you don't have to be in the same neighborhood as your friends anymore.
Right.
So I love being able to be part of this, and things like this are why this podcast exists. It's for people like you guys.
One thing I love about NLG, and even back then, is that it's not the biggest and most popular show, but it's always been about what we're doing. We come together, we talk about games, then we could go off mark and we're just talking about retro games. Like, we don't get so serious about hardware specs and sales and all that blah 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 like a lot of other shows.
Right.
And then you're in chat and you see people, they're just talking, they're just bringing up stuff, and then there's no, you can sit there and follow everybody, and you don't have to worry about people trying to console war and all that. It's just
we definitely have one of the best chat rooms out there.
We do. Mm-hmm. I appreciate everybody that comes in our chat. They're good gamers, good people.
Yeah, it's a quality chat.
That's what it's all about. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, most definitely. So, all right. So let's get on out of here so that some of us can get some sleep.
Right. I gotta be up in 4 hours.
Oh, damn. All right. So it's good to know that, so that we can make sure we stop doing these 12.
I do it for NLG though. It's just a little bit of time.
To be fair, we didn't get started for a while, but no. Let's get on out of here. Well, we were waiting on you. We were waiting on you, Chris. So anyway,
deep down, you know it.
I know, right? So thank you guys all. Everybody have a great week. We will we'll see you next Thursday. Get your gaming on, and thank you everybody for a great show. Love you guys. So, play on, gamers.
Game on, guys.
Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate everybody.